45 seconds. Seconds. The show will start in 15 seconds, and this is your last audible warning.
Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Like, and you can go to Side Splitters Comedy Wesley Chapel and see who's there. And Dan, here's the deal. They'll not only do you get a seat, but then they also serve you like food like pizza, pretzel bites, French fries, hamburgers, chicken wings, chicken fingers. While the comedians are up there.
It's like Burns for merch crate.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Broadcast rights for the Bubba the Love Sponge show have been granted to this station by the Bubba Radio Network and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this production without the express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
Tuesday, August 11th, 2026, the Bubba the Love Sponge show, originating from, a suburb of Tampa, Florida, our very own Clem compound, which I think we're working out the kinks of. Listen, we've only been here, what was our first day here? Do we know that? I'm sure we could figure it out.
Yes.
Like what our first official day was. Was it like May? June? Macho, you might.
It was June. It was right after Memorial Day.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was. It wasn't the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
Yes.
That was our first day.
Yes.
So that gives us May. So June, July. We're just now approaching our third month. Seems like we've been here longer.
It does.
Kinda, a little bit. Did we get the Creative Loafing voting link to all platforms? I know Gary was working on it.
Yes, it's on all platforms.
Thank you, Gary, for being so attentive yesterday. I appreciate you. Thank you. Dr. Dan, how is day, let me see, Sunday, Monday, like day 3 or 4 of the healing process? Is it starting to itch?
It itches. It's getting better, but it still hurts. And my hand keeps swelling up.
Does it? Because usually you're on the advice side of somebody who has stitches and they're itching. Very rarely. I mean, I can't think of very many times you've had stitches through your various mishaps, but you have. Mm-hmm. Is that what makes that the doctor will tell you if it's itching, that means it's healing. Is that like a doctor, like that's like what a doctor's advice is and what causes that?
I think it's as your sensation comes back, it starts getting a little bit irritated. So my nerve sensations are coming back, but I'm still got a numb spot. I'll be all right.
A numb
spot. It's just annoying.
Yeah. Thank God it didn't maybe potentially happen on the other side. Like, I got to think that just as far as the way we're built, that your forearms are pretty rugged in the fact that, like, you can do, like, like if that were to be on the other side of your forearm, like in the other side of your arm, I got to think that could be more catastrophic.
Like the inside part,
Yes,
the thin part?
instead of being on
The
the
hairy
top,
part?
the tops. No, the unhairy part.
That's what I'm
But,
saying. Yeah. As opposed to the hairy part.
Yeah.
The hairy part's got thick skin.
Completely opposite of where yours is now on the backside of your arm.
Right.
Like that's like that meat there, for lack of a better term, doesn't seem nearly as rugged as your forearm meat.
It's not. And I got both forearms. I mean, both forearms hit. So I got a bruise and a cut on my right arm, too.
But not
like the left
not
side.
a big golf divot.
No, not like a giant chunk.
But I squeezed your hand yesterday, and it seems like you had full strength and movability and things like that. Like, this wouldn't hinder your suturing or anything like that. It may make it sore, or it may get more tiresome. But thank God that it didn't really hinder your hand, because your hands are everything.
Right.
Like the entire family freaks out when I think you've actually been regulated to not using hedge trimmers anymore.
No, I can't use power tools.
You cannot. Yeah.
Lawn equipment.
Yeah. I think maybe Steve would let you ride on a 0-turn mower, maybe.
Yeah, sure. I could do that.
Potentially. And when's the last time you did something like that? Because I got to tell you, I know you're a guy's guy, and like if you came to the track, I could teach you how to excavate and run a mini skid steer and stuff like that. I think you kind of are built. You're kind of wired that way. I think you would like. I
do like stuff like that. And Kirk Morgan has a little bit of a front loader that he let me play with once.
Yeah, those
about
things
5 years ago.
Do you know? I forget. I think there are a couple, like maybe. I don't know how many there are in the United States, but they got these big these companies that have like big equipment like graders and excavators and front end loaders and backhoes and things like that, and they have corporate like team bonding events where like big corporations will have a day out, and it's just a big huge field full of dirt and holes and things like that, and corporations take their employees out there to like dig and grade and things like that, because a lot of people, you got to think, in the average person's life, that might be a doctor or a lawyer or certainly a white collar worker, an accountant, teacher, whatever, you may not ever get the ability to be able to go out and dig a big hole or run a big grade or anything like that. So
it's therapeutic.
It very much is. It gets to be a pain in the... When it turns into a job is when it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I have to go to the track and put 30 hours on a piece of equipment, it just sucks because I don't have any help, and it's just you got to do everything from loading the water truck to sheep's footing to tilling to grading to physically having to walk around the track with a bucket and pick up rocks. Like that's the worst. Whew, I wish I could find some Mexicans down. It seems like, Lummy, for some reason the Mexicans they're not that plentiful in Ocala.
Really? I would expect the difference.
No, there's not. Like, I don't know if Ocala ice maybe is a little more active than Tampa ice or something like that, but I went down the last time we were there when we raced. I got there. I went there Wednesday for 7 hours, and I went Friday, and I obviously have an RV there, and I spent the night. So Friday night I left the track all tilled up, which means all the rocks will come to the top when you till it. So any rocks that are buried will now come to the top, and that's when you pick up rocks after you've tilled. So I got in my Crown Vic, and I went to Home Depot at 5:30. Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Thinking
there should be at least 5 to 10 out there.
None. Not a one. I waited till 7 o'clock.
They probably got all scooped up during the weekday for farmhands.
Oh,
and the horse farms.
And then see, once you get scooped up,
they use them a lot.
Yeah.
Well, then the guy that scoops them up tells them, "Hey, man, don't even go to Home Depot tomorrow. Just come right here to the job site."
Yep, exactly.
And then they got all scooped up during the week, and left me high and dry. So anyway, Dan. Good luck on now. What's the time frame of having your stitches in? You think 2 weeks?
Probably like 12 days, 10 days.
Now, will you remove them yourself?
No, I'll let David remove them.
You will?
Dr. Halpern, yes.
I've removed my own stitches on a couple things.
But he wants to see me, so I'm not going to deny him that.
Yeah, well, because he wants to see his work
right.
on how it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, has there ever been a time when you've put sutures in somebody and then they come to get them removed or to get them checked, and maybe you see like a dog ear or something that might not be, mending and merging together with the other skin, so to speak, the way you'd like it, and you do like a stitch revision, when you were going to remove them, but instead you might do a stitch revision.
That's pretty rare, but every now and then if someone's like, 10 days out, 14 days out, and it's not closing right, I will sometimes substitute stitches. Like I'll take out old stitches and put new ones in.
One of the greatest examples of this is when Lummy got attacked by his senile Cujo dog.
That's right.
And went to the emergency room, and it was just some, resident. Was it a nurse or was it like a resident doctor, kind of like what you were in New Orleans, that may have stitched Lummy up?
Was it a nurse? Is it a PA?
Yeah, I think it was a PA because the doctor just watched them do it and was kind of like just monitoring.
Let him put like eight stitches that you look like you'd be used for tarpon fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, like they were just big and coarse and like the bare minimum to close up, that scar. And is that what you get a lot of times, Dan, in the emergency room, is you don't get a guy that wants, because I think Dan put 49 in you. I think after Dan cut out the 8 barbaric stitches that was just used to, as little amount of stitches as they could, I think Dan, when he did his stitch revision, did damn near 50, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 6 times the amount.
And what's that, Dan? Just a guy that's taking his time and using better thread and putting them closer together, and as a true artist, rather than just like a chop shop.
Well, it's that, plus when you have a traumatic wound, sometimes you do close it loosely. And so, when you
the assumption of telling the guy, hey, listen, go to a plastic surgeon as soon as you can to get this revised, or do you just leave it loose?
No, they leave it loose because they want it to drain. They're expecting an infection.
Oh, okay.
So when you have an infection coming, you put a couple stitches in there to kind of tack it down and then let it drain.
Well, I mean, if you look at where you got attacked by senile Cujo, your beard line covers a little bit of it, but for the little bit of the scar that your beard line doesn't cover, like it looks like it's not that big a deal.
It's a little crease.
Meanwhile, it was a pretty decent gash, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a double too, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was 2 of them.
Yeah, it was 2.
Now, Lummy,
missed it.
What did you do when that dog? I don't know if I could control myself. And not beat the hell out of the dog. And I am a member of PETA and do not advocate violence on any type of animal. But if my dog attacked my face to the point where I was going to be permanently scarred, that dog might get a beat down. I'm just saying. I kind of
was in shock. And I went outside while my face was pouring blood, and called Dr. Dan and asked him if he thought I needed to go to the hospital or if I could just put some bandage over it.
And he said, go to the hospital.
Yeah, he was in, I think he was in Jersey, and he said, get there right now.
Otherwise, because Dr. Dan's just that way, Dr. Dan's a dick till you need him. If Dan would have been in town, I promise you, he would have said, just meet me at the office. I'll get it for you, because the people at the ER are gonna barbaric you, and I'm gonna put the the finest of Italian thread in you, my friend, and do it right. So Dan, if you would have been in town, would you have told him to, meet you at the office?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
absolutely. So, Lummy, we do have the Craigslist voting deal.
Yeah, the creative voting is on all platforms.
Thank you. Go to all of our platforms and look for the Creative Loafing voting. I think it requires you to sign up with an email, I think they just require your email so they can direct market you on various things they got going on. But go in and sign. I think we're in so many. How many different categories are we in? We're like best radio show. Lummy's in there. Dan's in there. Babyface is in there. Diaco Law's in there. Merch Crick's in there. Macho Man's in there. Lummy's in there.
Glowbug is in there.
Glowbug's in there. I think Angus's.
Yeah.
I think Angus's AC company's in there. We pretty much try to get as many people as we can in there.
Yes.
So,
and it's everywhere. It has a nice thumbnail on it and everything like that.
Fantastic. I don't know when the new Landman starts. Does anybody know when the new Landman starts?
I
think September, maybe.
I think
that's
it was
when.
the first week of
isn't
September.
that kind of like with regards to television and streaming seasons? Is September is a season, and then I think like maybe March is a season. And I think they strategically wrap it around school starting in September. People get back to their regular, daily rituals by September. Really, school now. I think globally within the United States, all schools start in August now, like early August.
Except the Jersey, Philadelphia area, it's all still after Labor Day.
Yeah, same with like when I went to high school, we started literally like the Tuesday after Labor Day. Like that's when we started.
Yeah, but you went to school like to the end of June almost, right?
No. We like the first couple days of June. Like you were out like seniors were out like May 26th, and then everybody else had to go like another week. So you are usually out by the first Friday of June.
So it looks like they pushed it. It was supposed to be end of this year. Now they've pushed it to mid to late 2027, and they just started filming. They're going to start filming in September.
So hold on, the new Landman doesn't come out like here in a couple weeks.
Yes, it was supposed to premiere in 2026, and now it's mid to late 2027.
Mid to late.
Yes.
What's the holdup? I thought it was a huge hit. Everybody agreed we're going to a third season. Let's start taping now. And like, what happened? Was there
delayed.
Contract negotiations,
Yeah.
or was there? Did Billy Joe Bob want, more money? And Allie Larder, the mom, which by the way, she, I think her daughter got married this past weekend or so, and so the mom on Landman, her real name is Allie Lartner, and I didn't know she's 50 years old.
Looks great.
I mean, for 50 years old, she looks great, does she not? And then Lummy, the daughter,
which I sent you an updated. She
That's
has
Allie Lauder's
She has
daughter.
2 different Instagrams if you want to. She has her own personal one that I.
who does? Michelle Randolph?
Yes, I
Oh, did
found
you
it.
send me another one?
Yes.
Is it probably far better than that one?
Yeah, that's like her publicist one. I found.
I think when a person has their own Instagram compared to like maybe the movie studio that they work for, I feel like they're gonna. Like that's a far better picture of her. This is the daughter. What's her name? Michelle Randolph.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a smoke show.
She's little.
Had she? Is that her right here?
No,
that's,
left.
that's Allie. I
Yeah,
think
that's the mom.
That's the mom. The daughter's to the left with the heels, and she's still the shortest one.
right here.
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
She's a tiny little thing.
She is. She's teeny tiny. She is hot.
Whew.
So Lummy, they're not.
5'6".
They don't start Landman till a year from now.
3. Yeah, it looks like.
How about Tulsa King?
Let's see on that one because they said
Tulsa King. I gotta look at all my favorite shows. So Tulsa King, Landman.
Is Landman Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen any of it?
I've seen like highlights of it. I haven't
You've
seen
got to get into
Is it
it.
good?
You're gonna love it.
He's an oil guy?
Yeah, he's kind of like I don't even know how he would remind me of with regards to our circles. He's kind of Billy Thor. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really accord. Like he's not a Jimmy Cleavis. He's not a Stephen Diaco. He's not a Pity. I don't know who he is. But you got to watch it, Dan, because you'd love his swagger. He's got so much swagger. Lummy, when's Tulsa King?
it looks like September or October. They haven't.
See, they didn't take any time off. They went right from last season to start shooting again, and they'll have it up here probably in a month or so. Did Mayor of Kingstown? Did that? Was it over? I'm thinking when I'm thinking about what I watched in the last season. I'm thinking that might be over, but they could come back with another one. But it seemed like.
Yeah, it looks like season 5. I'm trying to see the date.
Mayor of Kingstown?
Yes.
So Tulsa King's coming in about a month. I'll blow through that in about a weekend. I'll blow through it all. We usually have like 10 episodes. I'll blow through that. And then Mayor of Kingstown, they're coming back, right?
Yeah, they just have not announced the date, but it's been filmed.
What about like What about like 1923? Remember the Yellowstone? They had a spin. So they had Yellowstone, then they had 1923, and then they had the prequel to 23, which was like 1883. And I think they closed that out. But I think Yellowstone and 1923 still has some loose ends. Now I know they tried to spin Yellowstone into that with Casey with that U.S. Marshals show, and or called Marshals or whatever. And I watched one episode of it. I'm like, this is just like a SWAT version of Yellowstone. Like I didn't even get into it. I watched like half of an episode, and I'm like, nah. They're trying to make this like a SWAT version of Yellowstone, and nothing can emulate Yellowstone. But supposedly, Yellowstone was coming back maybe with Kevin Costner, and they had all the players, Rip and Beth and Casey and everybody. All the players were coming back. But is Yellowstone just over?
I think Yellowstone. Well, it's unconfirmed, so it's still up in the air.
But they did the Dutton Ranch show, right? Like they got their own ranch now. The daughter.
Yeah, the daughter and Rip
have a ranch.
Oh, I didn't. Is that on?
I think that's on CBS or Paramount.
I haven't heard anything about it. Like I haven't heard a buzz on it at all. Like the Dutton Ranch. I mean,
Well, they're the two most interesting characters on the show. Is Rip and Beth.
Absolutely, I agreed. Is that doing anything? I mean, I've not heard a buzz on the Dutton Ranch. Does it just show Beth and Rip, married with that problematic kid that they adopted?
Well, I think they moved. I think
they moved out of Yellowstone.
They stole it to the son,
to the
right?
Indians or the son. Or I think they moved to Texas. I haven't seen it. I just seen previews of it. But there hasn't been anything that was.
Yeah, nobody's really like. I don't think there's a buzz on it at all or anything like that, right?
No, but it looks like they're coming back with a season 2.
What, with Dutton Ranch?
Yeah.
Maybe I should go watch it.
It's Yellowstone without Kevin Costner.
Yeah, which I don't know if I like. Kevin Costner, didn't he big time his way out of the deal? They wanted to shoot another episode. They were all ready for the new season, and he was like, I'm going to do 50 days of taping. And they're like, okay, we'll work around it. We'll do it. And then he like narrowed it down to like 9. After they negotiated like 50 days of taping, then he like got a hair up his ass and said, I can only tape for 9 days because my wife or some kind of bull crap. And then
was he having some marital issues?
Yeah,
he was having marital issues, and I guess his wife. And I'd be like, listen, bitch, this is what has got me as the most popular, highest paid actor, television series actor in America, if not the world. And if you can't, understand that I got to tape for 50 days, and you can come in with me and stay in my trailer or my hotel or whatever, no big deal. But like, I'm not going to be so pee-whipped that I'm going to turn down this opportunity unless Kevin Costner's got so much money that
he's just crapping $1,000 bills, which is not happening. And so it's really frustrating, Bubba.
When these women step in,
right,
and
they ruin a guy's livelihood
or career.
Yes, their livelihood.
Career.
They're like, your job is, why can't you take more time off, or you have to work? Like, yeah, bitch, because you don't have to.
It'd be like this. Be like, Dan. Let's say you're a big time resident doctor. And you're just getting out of med school, and you're in New Orleans, right?
Right.
And you meet a girl in New Orleans, which you did, by the way. You had a couple girlfriends in New Orleans, and you're doing your residency, which pays you what? Nothing.
$25,000 a year.
Yeah. I mean, you're living at the hospital, you're sleeping at the hospital. What are you doing? 60 hours a week at the hospital?
No, it's 80, 90.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's, you're paying your dues, and you're doing that for 3 or 4 years, and you meet this chick from New Orleans, and she's absolutely a smoke show, and you like her a lot, but, after you get done with your residency, you already got, let's say you don't even have, you have to come to Tampa and start your own brick and mortar deal, and the struggles of being a brand new plastic surgeon, because I think when you first started, it was slow. Nobody knew who you were. You didn't have any name recognition. You didn't have any work on the street, so to speak, for people to, I mean, that's how I got to know you, is I saw your work.
Well,
and so, when you first started, I got to think that you were out hustling, going to the dollhouse and going to various things, handing out business cards.
And taking call.
Yeah, exactly. And working in a hospital.
ERs.
So let's say you had an opportunity to come back to Tampa, and David Halpern, was already established, and he said, "Hey, kid, I really think that you're good. I'm going to pay you $200,000 to come and be my assistant for however many years." Well, that's a hell of a deal, right? To get started and what have you. Way better than working in residency at New Orleans, and the bitch that you're hooked up with at New Orleans is like, "I don't want to leave New Orleans. My family's from here, and so I think I'm going to stay in New Orleans, and I want you to stay in New Orleans." Like, bitch, I got a chance to make $200,000 back in Tampa. I'm not staying here in New Orleans. Well, then we're not going to make it. You know how many times within my life that I have had a friend that a woman has kept them from expanding their job or their empire or relocation or something like that. Bitches are scandalous in that area. They're the worst. When they start putting pressure on you like that. And like if Kevin Costner's chick or wife, I should say, can't understand that he's got to do 50 days of taping. Big whoop, right? I mean, you've been together I think they've been together 20 plus years. If you're not secure enough in your relationship for the man to be able to go and be, 2 months out, not with you for two. But I'm thinking though, if you're Kevin Costner, you got a big ass, Prevost bus that they provide for you, and if your wife or whoever wanted to come and stay for however long she wants, it's very comfortable, right? That or they got them put up at a really, really, really nice 5-star penthouse hotel while they're not taping. She could stay there, go shopping all day, spend your money. So I don't know. Nothing pisses me off more than when a woman, puts her foot down because she's so insecure and a guy can't go out and make a living.
I sent you because everyone in chat saying the Dutton Ranch is obviously better than the Marshalls. So they said that you might like the Dutton Ranch.
Really?
I sent you the trailer.
I will tell everybody in chat, I didn't like the Marshalls. I didn't. So let me see if I can. And I'll just go right to my Get a Box and get this bitch.
The best of the heartland.
There you go.
I got sound coming from. Oh, it's Deadly Intentions. I was playing some Deadly Intentions.
Nice.
Inside the Hunt of Israel Keys. I tape a new Deadly Intentions today. Dan, I'm gonna print out. Pete sent me some show notes because today we're breaking down the U.S. Iranian epic. We're breaking that down in ways that most people don't understand. So I'm gonna print out my notes, and during the breaks, I want you to. I don't want to talk about the notes, but I want you to look at Pete's notes and where he's going with this for you to tell me what you think. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
And if it's like things that you potentially didn't know, or most people, I think you would agree that most people are not looking at this war with Iran in the way that Pete's going to break it down today. Because people in the news, regardless if you're right-leaning, left-leaning, middle of the road, whatever, they're only reporting it real time because nobody wants the backstory of this, and nobody really care. They only care about what's happening right now. So I don't know that anybody's really been able to break down the backstory of it, and it's quite different than anything we've heard. And Dan, I can't wait I'm going to print out my notes during the break and
I'm curious to see.
Let you look at, because Pete, man, he builds all these modules and what he's going to talk about. I mean, this guy's unbelievable.
If either of you want.
So this is the trailer of Dutton Ranch.
Yes, this is looks like I think this season 1. They're coming out with season 2.
And chat, I got to be honest with you, chat usually knows what I will like and don't like. Chat, if you're a member of our chat or you listen to the show, I think that you've picked up on what I like.
Well, they all said Marshall sucked, and this one's better.
All right, so they agreed with me.
Yes.
Marshall's was just a SWAT version of Yellowstone, and so you can't emulate that. So thank you, chat, for this suggestion. Here is the trailer of Dutton Ranch.
If either of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
Beth is she's a little freak.
Yeah.
She's an absolute freak.
miss waking up to the mountains.
And Rip, he puts up with enough of her being bat crap crazy just to let her be bat crap crazy. But when push comes to shove and Rip lays the law down, you can see that she pushes him so far, and he puts up with it to be the good man and husband. And then when he's had enough, the bitch knows she knows to her place.
That's true.
He puts up with way more pride than I would. But then once he finally lays the law down, do you notice old girl just shuts right on up?
Yep.
Yep.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
Somebody said that Rip had ties to Tampa.
He lives in Sarasota area.
He does.
Yeah, Sarasota
Man,
Branson.
that'd be a huge score. Not that I could ever grab that. That'd be more like a Matt Cox, Danny Jones kind of deal.
I never know.
And well, I mean, certainly not me. I know my limitations. Please. Oh, we got a look, Dan. Thank God that didn't happen to you. Hold on. Thank God that didn't happen to you on your biking accident, where you look at the ground and your is it your hand right or it's your left?
Yeah.
Your left hand is down there on the curb.
So screwed.
You be done. I mean, like you might be done.
Yeah.
We're officially putting Dan in a bubble for the weekends.
Welcome to Texas, honey.
Texas?
Yeah, they moved to Texas.
Beautiful, beautiful Texas.
Let me ask you a question. We're so entrenched into this area. Me having been here since 92, you guys here most of your life. Dan, you have 2 businesses here, if not more. Lummy, you got business, rental properties and a family and a child. I have my entire family down here now, and my business located down here. My business has been located down here since 92. I've had nightclubs and limos and all the other bunch of bull crap. But could any of us think, I could never think about having to go start over in another city.
No.
I could never think of it. And Dan, all the infrastructure you got built with your mother and your brothers and your brother's company, it's just...
Be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially, if I ever had the money, I don't know if I have the money again, but I could potentially have like maybe a summer home. Like Dan, I'm sure you wouldn't mind, when Arlene, maybe leaves us, which I don't say that in a bad way. I'm just saying, obviously both of our moms are getting older, and there'll be a day that we don't have them, unfortunately. But what's going to happen to the beach house at that point? I'm assuming all 3 of you, Steve, Jay, you will own it 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Correct.
At that time, would you spend more time there maybe in the summers?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Without some of the rules, yeah.
Yeah, no, hold on. Are there rules now?
There's always rules.
Are there rules that keep you away from there?
Not to keep me away from there, but keep me and someone else away from there.
Right. Oh, I understand.
Yes,
I understand. Yes, I understand. I exactly understand.
Mom rules.
Right. That when Mom, God bless her little soul, isn't with us anymore, she can't instill those type of rules now, can she?
No, she can't.
The Edwards.
The ghost of Arlene, though, she may roll up in that bitch and cause some havoc.
Yeah, hit the fire alarm.
It's the Dutton Ranch now.
You met Miss Rhea Paloma herself. She's an acquired taste.
Beulah Jackson. From Grizzly and Gooch.
All right, Lummy, I've seen enough. I'll watch it. I think I'm gonna watch it. Like, Lummy, could you think about living anywhere else? Like uprooting your family. I honestly think that you wouldn't mind living in the Panhandle. I think you like it up there.
I do. That would be the only place, though.
Ashley works remote, so she can pretty much work from anywhere, correct?
Yes.
Like Panama City?
No, like Pensacola.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Pensacola would be my spot.
See, I'd get maybe a lake home in Warsaw, like on Winona Lake or Chapman Lake or, something like that. But those things are so expensive, I couldn't afford it in today's world. Listen, I think this is my last stop, my little farm, my little plot of acreage here, my little woods. I think my little woods here is going to be where, the ambulance finally picks me up when I finally die.
This is your final resting place?
This is it. Yeah. This is it. This is where this is best it gets.
Will we bury you on the property?
No, I don't want.
Build like a little mausoleum?
I don't want buried. I don't want a headstone. I don't want.
Really? You didn't want a headstone?
Nope.
Come on. Where will I piss?
Well, the show will quickly pack up and not be a show anymore. I could maybe make some provisions where if Lummy and Macho Man wanted to hobble it along, and I don't know.
You were giving it to Seth 6 months ago.
Yeah, well, and I'm not now. I'm giving it to. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll actually set provisions where Brian, Dan, and Gene couldn't. But, maybe get those guys to co-host. I don't even know. Now we're talking about me dying.
Do you want your ashes spread on Warsaw's football field?
No, I do not. Mm-mm.
How about in that lake?
I want
dump them in the lake?
I want my, my son, if he wants some of my ashes, he can have some. My sister, obviously, and Erica. That's probably all, 1/3. They're probably each going to weigh 2 pounds. I mean, I wonder what. Now, Dan, I think this is an obvious answer, but the bigger you are, probably the more ashes you produce, correct?
Yeah, but, they only give you the number of ashes that fit in the urn. Anything left over probably gets dumped.
No, they don't, because they give it to you in a big bag.
The extra?
Yeah, no. They give the ashes to you in this big cellophane bag. And how
do you put it in an urn? You gotta do it yourself?
Yeah, you gotta.
It's like at the restaurant, they give you a plastic tray and say, "Here,
it's
for
like
your
a dog.
leftovers."
It's like a doggy bag. It's like a carry out. When you get, they don't give you a plate and utensils. They give you a styrofoam container for you to throw your, fillet or whatever you didn't eat in there, and then that's on you how you prepare it at home. So
can we sell your ashes?
I was thinking about doing that, but that'll be the final grift, and I don't think I should probably do that to the people.
Why not? You could make thousands of dollars and make your son the beneficiary of it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking about, you have my medical file and you know pretty much everything about me. I send my blood panels to you and all that kind of stuff. What do you think I will die of?
You?
Yeah.
You will die from a sudden cardiac event in your late 70s, early 80s.
Really?
Yes.
Even if I keep up with my heart?
Yeah, it'll just eventually go.
Yeah, because it probably has worked a little harder. When you push around 300 pounds of oil or blood, in my case, that oil pump is straining more so than pushing around 4 quarts. Dan, do I being fatter and bigger, do I have more blood than the average guy?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
So, my oil pump has a lot more volume to pump than y'all.
And a heart only beats so many times.
Oh, meaning it's only
It's only
scheduled.
good for so many beats.
Wouldn't that be cool if they could look at your heart and tell you where you are on your beat count?
Right, because it will stop.
Oh, listen, Mr. Clem, you get 10 million beats throughout the year, and you're currently at 9.2 million. So you only got about 800,000 beats left. So then, Dan,
10,000 hours, dude. You're done.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Fabrizi once. I was with Fabrizi about 6-7 months ago having lunch at Mike's, and he said, "Do you know what?" I go, "What?" He goes, "We only got about 1,000 weekends left." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, we only got about 1,000 weekends left." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah."
It's morbid, but it's true.
Yeah, it's true. We only got about 1,000 weekends left. I know I'm not even going to have a headstone like in Warsaw, Indiana, or nothing like that. I'm just going to give my ashes to whoever wants them, and they.
Yeah, we're selling them.
But I did have.
I'm finally gonna make some money off you, bitch.
I did have an idea, and it's really. I don't know. It's either absolutely brilliant, or it's the ultimate grift that people would be offended by. But here's what I'm thinking, Dan. Here's what was my idea, and I got to think that it may not be people may be offended by it. But I get a Stanley Cup replica, which you can buy those for $500 or $600, and then you put my ashes in there, and then everybody that pays whatever, maybe a couple $100 or something like that, they have their name engraved on my urn.
But where's your urn going to be displayed?
Well, that's. I don't know.
I mean, if
maybe we
displayed it downtown, that would be cool. If we, displayed it on your mantle.
It's virtual. So there's a camera on it. You go to bubbasurn.com or whatever.
It does a 360 rotation slowly.
Yeah, it's just a constant live feed of my urn that's on one of those little cake things that keep the cake moving. You know, those little cake.
Oh boy.
And it just
like a slow record player.
And it's got like really cool lighting, 4-cornered lighting, and then it just spins around. And you look for your name on there. Yeah, that would probably be dumb. You know what might be better is
that'd be incredible, dude. Just an eternal feed.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Who wants a fireplace? I'd rather have your urn spinning.
Yeah. And then you have you have the camera close enough where if you know where your name is, you can find. There's my name. And maybe with that, Dan, you get like a little locket, sent to you with a little smidgen of my ashes, just a little, maybe a.
Offer $99.99.
For $99.99, you can get a locket of my ashes and be on my Bubba Stanley Cup urn your name. But I'm gonna have to start selling those before I die.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, you got to have all that infrastructure in place, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the Stanley Cup. You got to start engraving people's names on it earlier. You just can't do a mass engraving. And people, just like it would be.
Would you just added like a little plaque every time someone bought?
Yeah, I mean, potentially. But, it's like, people, responsible people, just when they die, they don't contact the funeral, the graveyard or the cemetery, I should say, and say, I need to buy a plot for my grandpa. And a lot of people have all that laid out already. Pre-bought, they already have their plot pre-bought. They already have their headstone prepaid for. They already have their casket. So it's not a big financial burden on the family. Well, if I have this Stanley Cup already purchased and start selling slots on it now, you're that much more ahead of the game.
That's true. But you also probably need to get go to Nick the Gun Guy and get like a bullet loader, so you could get 18 grains of ashes per each little vial.
Well, you're going to have to find these little vials somewhere on Amazon or somewhere like that.
Make a necklace out of it.
You're going to find that. You're going to have
poor
Merch Crick, instead of packing and shipping Bubba Army shirts, she's going to be doing teaspoons of my ashes into these sealable.
I could just see her naked with just a white a little white bunny suit on. And goggles and a respirator, just transferring ashes.
I don't think that's probably something we should do.
Oh,
let's just try to make as much money as we can while I'm alive, and not try to shake people down in death. But that would be me, the ultimate grifter, the ultimate, the ultimate huckster, the ultimate snake oil salesman. Did you know Bubba even that might actually let me lead to my, my famous, urban legend lore, and the fact that bitch. That guy was his fans loved him so much that he sold 500 people a Stanley Cup placement, their name on his urn, to be forever shown on BubbasUrn.com or whatever. I mean, we wouldn't.
You don't
think it would make me live in infamy, or would it make me be the ultimate grifter? There's a fine line there, Danny. Either I'm a pimp or I'm a poser.
Gene Simmons is doing it.
Well, what do you mean? Gene Simmons has his own caskets.
Yeah, his own caskets.
And people know about it.
I don't want to do Bubba Army caskets.
I don't think you should do that. But I think that Gene Simmons will listen to this, and he's going to sell his ashes upon his death.
Gene Simmons would be like, man, that fat radio guy had a pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a replica Stanley Cup. It's going to be called the Kiss Cup, right?
Right.
And me and Paul Stanley and all the other Kiss guys are going to have our ashes put in here, and you Kiss Army, which, by the way, Kiss is the first band to have to use Army. I know I'm Bubba Army, but Kiss Army. And trivia question, you can even look it up. Do you know where the Kiss Army was established?
Terre Haute,
Indiana. The very first person that thought of having a fan group for Kiss was in Terre Haute, Indiana, and they called it the Kiss Army. So you call it the Kiss Cup, right, Dan? If my price is $199, then they're probably $399. You know what I'm saying? Because they're far more popular.
Sold
than me.
out pre-sales.
You only get however many, they'll know how many names you can put on that cup. The manufacturer will be able to tell you based on how big you make the name. Price sell it out.
Daniel Pfeiffer for $25.
Thank you,
Keep making it taller.
And Lummy, we don't call it the Kiss Cup. Do you know what we call it?
What?
The Clem Cup.
The Clem Cups.
Yeah. Coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen, another way for me to shake you right down to zero. But, Lummy, we would say that total would go to your year-end BARP deal.
So do we need to start looking that up?
Does BARP? Yeah, we need to look at replica Stanley Cups. Not cheap ones either. Like, it's going to cost us some money. We need to look
think
at
about the backside.
Well, I mean,
Oh, you won't enjoy it, but we will.
Quite simply, you're listening to pure filth. And he's damn proud of it. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
hey, Lummy,
Yes, sir.
can you go get me? I'm printing those show notes out.
Okay.
I'm printing 2 copies, one for me and one for Dan.
Okay. I'll get him.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, Roberto Perez, Pappy Jasper, Rick James, New York Greg, Johnny K. Steelslinger, Bob Cook, Yinzer.
Hey, Dan, I gotta text you something. It's not. I don't mind that Lummy sees it or not, but it's just something that I heard.
Diamond Don, Oshak. Okay. Ziggy. Jeff Quake Handle. 305, Katie's Dog. Katie's Dog. Barbecue Pitmaster. New York Greg. Mike from Massachusetts. Gene. Bob Cook. Mad Mike. Ned's His Herbs.
I'll get that.
I just texted you something, Dan.
Lehman.
There you go.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too. It's a big buck.
Oh my God, fish on the motherfucking J. $100 in the PayPal, shaking me down.
Snow Slayer. Black
Dan, I
Rider.
just texted you.
Thank you, Fish on Jay.
Oh, that's horrible. That's sad.
I've not heard of that until just now. Have you?
From the text?
Yeah.
No, I heard he was a little sick, but I didn't hear that it was that bad.
Yeah, I heard that it's not well, and that it might be like
Imminent.
Yeah, like he's in a hospital in Jacksonville, like on
Like
hospice kind of deal. And I'm like, oh my
sucks.
God, I wonder if you and I should go see him.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, that you introduced me to him.
Oh.
On my very first surgery I had, he helped you.
Yep. Didn't know what to do with your deck.
Thanks.
What's up? We got it. Berto. J-Tez. Black Guy and Cali, good morning. Right, Heather Wiz.
Hey, Wizzy.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay. You sure will. What's up, Cable Road? He's always winning. Stuff attack of the dog.
Shield your home with storm-resistant siding from Morgan Exteriors. Take advantage of our special this month. Get 20% off your project plus free installation. Choose from high-performance vinyl or fiber cement siding, built to stand up to Florida's toughest storms, heat, and humidity. Don't wait. Schedule your free consultation today to lock in savings. Visit MorganExteriorsInc.com now. That's MorganExteriorsInc.com. Morgan Exteriors, protecting Florida homes for over 30 years.
Welcome back.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Listener supported on Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Thank you to Fish on the J. $100 in the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Yesterday, the YouTube show was severely screwed with by a pack full of trolls that immediately tried to spin Dan's injury on his forearm as violent content. The YouTube algorithm immediately shut us down. I mean, it really put a serious damper on, the way we garner views and monetize, every show. And finally, somebody with a human, I think, from YouTube analyzed it and quickly, turned all community standard strikes off. And we regained control of that particular show, being able to put pre-rolls and what have you. But it's just absolutely amazing as to the hate that a certain amount of people have for this program when we, all we do is come in here, try to do our best. It may not be your cup of tea, but do you really have to be such a loser that you have to hate listen every second? And I have some inside intel from YouTube that says by 10 minutes, and Gary probably has the same amount of intel, within 10 minutes of the program starting, there are anywhere between 5 and 15 complaints, suggested we're breaking community standards and YouTube guideline complaints within the first 10 or 15 minutes. So, it just goes to show you, the minute they turn the show on, I didn't know that YouTube has a complaint button, but I think they do.
Yeah, it's like a report button.
Yeah, and so within 5 to 10 minutes of our program, we've already been reported. We could very well just be talking about the weather or what I got going on in life or the fact that I'm going to try to gouge people for $300 to be on my Bubba Death, my Clem Cup. Something that's not a community standards violation, something that's not objectionable, something that's not violent. But sure enough, within 10 minutes every day, we got it. So I applaud you guys, and continue, please. Continue. Keep doing what you're doing, my friend. I'm glad that I occupy rent in your head, my friends. You can't let me go. As much as you hate me, I don't know you, so I can't even really infiltrate your life at all. You're all a bunch of nobody has their real name up there. You don't see Larry Plummer or Troy Tabata or Jeff Patterson. You don't see real people that can, stand by whatever nonsense they post and be the real person that they are. It's all these make-believe screen names that are all anonymous because you're a bunch of pussies. Be a real man and say, here's my real name, and Bubba, you have the ability to look me up and see what I do for a living and contact my employer. Oh, no, God forbid that turnabout's fair play now, is it? No, of course not. So anyway, Lummy, I keep doing what you're doing. I'm glad that my show that you hate, that you listen to more intently than a guy like, let's say, Fish on the J, who probably catches a lot of the show but doesn't sit there and transcribe it and think of or write things down or post things that he hates about it, how much it sucks, what we need to do better. And in fact, the only thing that could make this show better is if I would die.
Oh.
That's what they want. They want me to die. They want the show to die. They want me to die. That's how much disdain and hate there is.
Do you think they'll buy ashes?
Oh, of course not. No, of course not. And so anyway, I wish you haters the best. Keep on hating. Please. I'd like to have more. More. Just really turn it up. Get into my personal life. Dig deep, my friend. And keep on keeping on. Yeah, thanks. My question is, Dan, I don't think you've ever lived in the places that you've lived, from your residency to your undergrad to your medical school. I think probably the most exotic, furthest place might either be Duke or New Orleans. I don't know that you've ever lived anywhere that was earthquake prone. I don't think any of us really have. And my question is, all of us in here know what we're supposed to do for a hurricane. Like, we all know. You keep an eye on the weather. If you are rich enough like J. Diaco to have a backup generator, you got that. And then maybe if you're really, really Mac and you live on the water, you got those storm shutters. Like those automatic storm shutters that come and make your house a complete fortress. Like, that's about the best you can do down here in Florida. That, along with having, water and batteries and, potentially some type of radio. That's if, like, all hell broke loose and,
a gun.
A gun. Yes, it's important because, it may have to be, is it called loitering or looting? Looting. Loitering's just hanging out, right?
Correct.
Looting is when you go into the 7-Eleven that got hurricaned and walk in, grab all their stuff, through the front window and don't pay for it because the place is closed. So realistically, we all have a pretty good idea on what we're supposed to do in hurricanes. And the worst case scenario is, after you've buttoned up your place, if you're going to get a direct hit, you leave. You leave. I don't know that any of us have ever left. Dan, even when you got a direct hit on your home that caused hundreds, I'm not going to get into your finances, but caused hundreds of thousands of dollars for you. And I think just within the last 6 months, you've gotten it all. But like, it's taken a couple years for you to get all the damage that was done to your home. Finally, I think you're finally done.
Yeah, it took over a year.
Yeah.
And another thing is, and Lummy can attest to this, that you start fixing things and you find other things that are broken along the way.
Especially on an older house.
Yeah.
Right. Surprise, surprise.
Of which, Lummy, I got to get a hold of Morgan Exteriors, because I got some in the law, because I have like log cabin siding.
Yes.
It's not really a log cabin per se, but I have log cabin siding. It's kind of a log cabin. It's not like the type of quality log cabin that Tom Bean has in LJ, but it's probably like a log cabin kit, maybe.
But it's like that on the inside too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not real logs?
No, those are real logs. Big beams and things like that. Yeah,
okay.
That's all real. But it's not like when you have a real log cabin, like the ones that cost millions and millions of dollars, like Tom, they go out and harvest these trees and cut them down and then form them to fit the particular beam area they need for your custom log cabin. That's how I just got probably a cabin kit. You know what I'm saying? But in doing so, some of my exterior siding from the people that had this place before me and then subsequently us, where the irrigation hits some of these log siding, they've become kind of rotted, like flimsy, waterlogged, and I wonder if Morgan Exterior does that sort of thing. I'm thinking they do.
Yeah,
I mean, anything to do with windows and doors and siding,
fascia.
Yeah,
fascia. I think they do all of that.
Yeah,
So,
they do. When I was doing the house in Tampa, I had siding put on it, some wood siding, and I had them quote me.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so they do it.
Fantastic. But this is like a particular, like, looks like log siding, but I'm sure that they got that too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, back to my original deal about the hurricane, we all know what we're supposed to do. Now, a lot of us don't do it. You know, inevitably, Dan, you probably were in a mandatory evacuation zone, and they probably wanted you to evacuate. You didn't.
For Helene, yes.
Yes.
I did not evacuate.
No, neither did I.
I watched the water come up.
So we know what to do with hurricanes. And then living in Indiana, I also know what to do with tornadoes. In tornadoes, you're supposed to, if you have a basement, get to the basement. Otherwise, you're to get to the bathroom or the most interior closet. And then there's actually, I forget what side of the house you're supposed to be on, but there's like the southeastern side of the house or something like that. If you live in Indiana and Tornado Alley, you learn what side that house is. Haven't been there for so long, so I'd have to refresh. But they want you to get to the basement, and if you're outside, they want you to lay in a ditch. The lowest part of the terrain is where they want you. Okay, but what do you do for an earthquake?
Stand under a mantle, like a frame of a door.
Is that what it is? That what they do?
Supposedly the strong part.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what if you're
stay low and wear like a door threshold?
But for an earthquake, like, you know, stuff's falling off of big buildings onto the ground. Stuff might be, you know, I think maybe being out in the country might be the most, but not that everybody can get out to the country. And I don't think that earthquakes really give you, tornadoes give you a little bit of warning, like maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, but they're in an area that's prone to tornadoes. They're used to them. They have tornado sirens. Earthquakes are different, man. They just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Earthquakes, they don't give you a warning. They don't give you a warning at all. What's this, Lummy? Is this the one from yesterday in Columbia?
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you do for that?
Yeah. So, Dan, you could stand in your little door jam all you want, buddy, but what happens when something like this comes down? Go ahead and store it.
That's a hospital,
But hold on now. Dan might be correct in the fact that if you were standing right in here, right here, right?
Safe.
Let's see if this area right here, which seems to be probably structurally, you got two concrete columns, very short ones, not big, long, and then another short one right there. I mean, I guess, Dan, if you're in an open, like, street area and you can see all the skyscrapers around you, you know, maybe you'll be okay, right? You know, because you could see this stuff. Like, they can see this building deteriorating in front of them. If there's nothing behind them, you're probably okay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever he just said. So anyway, let me there. 111 people died.
So far, 132.
Oh, is it 132 now?
Dude, the worst problem with earthquakes is open fractures. So when you get crushed in a collapsed building, you end up breaking bones, and they're open fractures, meaning that there's a wound associated with the fracture. And so,
meaning like it broke the skin.
It broke the skin. It's not necessarily still sticking out of the skin, but it broke the skin as well as breaking the bone, and they all get infected.
a 7.4
It's big
magnitude, which is the largest quake to hit South America ever on record. And Lummy, you're saying the death toll was 111 last night, but now it's bumped up to 138?
132.
Other news now, and Colombia, where the search for survivors continues after a catastrophic earthquake toppled dozens of buildings. The epicenter of this 7.4 magnitude event.
Look at that.
About 250 miles west of Bogota. More than 100 people are dead, and tonight many others are missing in the rubble. Lilia Luciano is tracking late developments.
Tony, good evening.
132 dead.
Colombia's new president announced that more than 100 people are dead. And
now, Dan, can you build, like when every time we have a hurricane,
Japan does.
But every time we have a hurricane, then they put new codes in and things like that, and then new home construction, supposedly is more hurricane resilient. So when you have an earthquake, do they put new building codes in? And I don't know that you can really do anything to an earthquake. I mean, would it be
Well, in Japan, they have a lot of earthquakes, and most of the Japanese homes and smaller buildings are built so they can withstand an earthquake. They flex and they go back and forth, and some newer constructions in these earthquake-prone areas have that same sort of flexible joint construction so that if there's a shift, it doesn't just crumble, it just flexes.
So it's more like the foundation type deal.
It's the transition between the foundation and the rest of the building, as well as the top of the building. I mean, all of it flexes. Japanese buildings, a lot of them have some flexibility to them, so they don't just collapse.
So, Lummy, this is
all the earthquakes that have happened in Colombia in the last couple weeks.
Oh my God! Look at this: 21 hours ago, 22 hours ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
So they've had a little warning.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, they were having 4.6ers.
Every other point is twice as powerful.
Well, this one goes 4.7 to 3.8 to 4.4 to 4.3 to 4.2 to 4.4. And so this was just within the last 4 weeks. So a month ago on June 17th, which is more like 3 weeks ago, they had a 4.5. And then on the 17th, they had another 4.7. And then on the June 21st, they had a 3.8. Then on June 28th, they had a 4.4. Then on July 15th, they had a 4.3. Then on July 16th, they had a 4.2. Then on July 18th, they had a 4.4. July 20th, a 4.6. July 20th, a 4.3. July 23rd, a 4.6. July 25th, a 4.4. July 26th, it seems like, Dan, they go in either 1 or 2 days increments. July 26th, 4.7. July 26th, same day, 3.7. August 2nd, 4.4. August 6th, 4.3. August 7th, 4 days ago, a 3.7. Yesterday, a 7.4. And then an hour after that, they had a 5.
That's scary.
So, Dan, what would be causing all of these back to back to back to back, and in some days two?
A shift in the tectonic plates.
That's what's causing it?
Mm-hmm.
It's his herpes, $10.
So is there some kind of
tectonic plate that runs right through there?
And that's
it's slowly shifting.
And a tectonic plate is kind of the foundation that the soil and earth lay on, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like the tectonic plates are the bones, and the soil is the skin of, if you were to talk
the
about
Earth's crust. Yes, you could say it like that.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy.
The bones would be the tectonic plates, and then your skin would be the earth,
right,
or the ground, or soil, if you will.
Sure.
Dozens were injured following the 7 point.
I'm telling you, I'm moving out of Colombia.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was hot until this year.
Unless I'm doing cocaine trade.
4 magnitude.
Isn't that the cocaine capital of the world?
Yes.
Colombia?
It was at one point.
Earthquake that left thousands of Colombians scrambling in fear. In Cali, the third largest city in the country, local officials confirmed reports of residents trapped in buildings. Nearly 2,000.
So, Dan, think about this. There's people in there. There's people
I know.
in
buried,
that rubble.
Buried with open fractures.
Now, could you live, Dan, if you had like a little breathing hole? You know, like let's say you're in this pile right here, but you're kind of in the back, but you do have a way to air. Like, are you screaming, or are you unconscious, or are you dead, or some numb, or all the above?
You could be unconscious, but you have that open fracture, which is getting infected. And so this is why the people, they can still pull them out. They'll be severely dehydrated. They'll be maybe hypothermic, maybe not because it's Colombia and it's still warm. But the problem is they have these open fractures that are getting infected.
How long could a person live under rubble if you had air?
6 days.
Oh, you can live that long?
Yeah, you're about 6 days without water.
But what if, like, you got a big rock on your leg and it's completely crushed your femur, your largest bone in your body, you know, and you're sitting there with a crushed femur, and you're probably in shock? What's it called? Aphylactic? What's it called?
Well, you think of anaphylactic shock, but that's not the kind of shock that you're talking about. You're talking about hypovolemic shock, where you lose blood.
Yeah.
That kind of shock, you won't go 6 days. You'll go faster.
You'll go like what? A couple days?
Yeah.
Are damaged or collapsed throughout the country, according to the National Unit for Disaster Risk Management.
Personas atrapadas.
Cali Mayor Alejandro Eder urged residents to remain calm and report any damage as soon as possible. Cali Mayor Alejandro Eder urged residents to
No, it was just rubble.
Remain calm and report any damage as soon as possible. President Abelardo.
Do trees fall over sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Traveled to Bogota today and said he would.
Now, Dan, what makes it that this building right here, this little domed building that was probably a place of worship or government, probably a worship place. Looks like kind of I think there's a big
church. Yeah,
it's a church. There's a big cross at the top of it. What makes it be okay? It looks like it's structurally fine, and this place here just straight rubble.
One was built in the 1500s. The other one was built nowadays.
Lead recovery.
In the 1500s, they didn't scrimp.
No, they cared about their property.
And they knew there were earthquakes.
Yeah.
Surprise.
No están solos. Colombia tiene un presidente.
Hold on, it looks like this guy's on a private plane.
He's got balls doing this from a private jet.
You're not alone. Colombia has a president who cares about the people and who will do everything in his
gente y que hará todo lo que esté
power to help the most difficult moments.
Yeah, and then this pretty Colombian waitress is going to come give me my gin and tonic on my way to.
Even if I'm out of the country on business and I have to get there as fast as I can, I tape this message before I get on the plane because I don't think it's a good look for you to be flying in a, arguably a $10,000 to $12,000 an hour private plane at the expense of the fine, Colombians who now have, in some instances, lost everything that they own, and you're on a private plane headed back. You either do one or two things. You either shoot that. Well, you do. You just shoot it while you're, got some terrain background. You do not shoot it in a plane. This looks so ostentatious and so douchebag.
Disconnected.
Yeah.
A su alcance para ayudar.
I got the power to help you in the most difficult moments, even though I'm flying in a Falcon 50 headed back there at your expense.
En los momentos más difíciles.
The Colombian geological
piece of shiz.
He just got into office 3 days ago too.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
3 days.
He was out celebrating. Yeah. He's out celebrating.
This is the strongest earthquake recorded.
Look at the
whole side, the whole building fell.
But look at look at like the little car or taxi cab or something. It looks like it's got 3-wheel motion. Watch.
Service is reporting this is the strongest earthquake recorded in Colombia, at least in the last decade. This earthquake was on the same South American.
Man, Dan, I got to tell you, CBS News, they must have some reporters that are standing by, ready to fly anywhere at any time, at any moment, because
she's local. This chick's local to Colombia.
No, I don't think she is.
She's an American they sent down there?
Yes, absolutely.
Colombia's far.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, if they'll CBS. No,
she's she's in Puerto Rico.
She's in Puerto Rico.
Look, it says San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
So she's stationed in Puerto Rico.
All right. So she's stationed in Puerto Rico, and they just probably...
It's all South America.
At least in the last decade.
Exactly.
This earthquake.
So they're trying to pull a fast one on you because they're trying to make it look like she's there.
Yeah, I thought she was.
But then they cover their ass by just throwing the little Puerto Rico gimmick up there like if you look, this is like the last 15 seconds of the whole piece, and there hasn't been her from Puerto Rico up until now.
Is on the same South American fault region.
Boom.
Wow.
There's exactly 11 seconds left in this piece.
That rocked Venezuela back in June, killing more than 6,000.
So they're trying to fake the funk like she's in Colombia, but really she's in Puerto Rico. Bunch of fakers. When we return, I love when celebrities say, "Hey, I tried sobriety. I didn't have near the fun I did when I used to get drunk and high, and I'm going back to getting drunk and high. I can manage it. I'm Brad Pitt." When did you ever see Brad Pitt is beside himself, completely drunk and high, and he cannot participate or be involved in this film, or he held up taping for 3 or 4 days because he was, on a bender? You never hear of that. Brad Pitt, I think had gimmick control. And he reveals that he started drinking again after 7 years of sobriety. I like that. Don't sit here and have to be sober and be a nerd. Get high, get drunk, have fun. You're Brad Pitt.
I think when he got sober is when he got separated from Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He realized this crazy bitch
sucks.
isn't that good for me. All these black kids running around.
Yeah, I got all these Cambodians. Running around here.
F am I doing?
And I got this hot bitch that wants to leave me, and I've been sober. You know how, if I would have been drunk and high, I could have taken the edge off all of this nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got black kids from Cambodia, and my wife hates me. Let's get high.
Who do you think's a better actor? Snook Slayer asked, Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt?
Tom Cruise.
Oh, it looks like
Whoa. You really think Tom Cruise is a better actor?
No. Hold on. Let me.
He's a bigger actor.
Let me clarify. I think Tom Cruise has made in his career probably 3 times the amount that Brad Pitt, if not more.
Agree.
But I think as far as just pure acting ability, I would lean towards Pitt being a little bit more what I like than Cruise, who tends to be a little like, MI, Mission Impossible, all of that nonsense. I'm not necessarily into that, but I loved Ocean's 11 and Fight Club and some of the things, some of Brad Pitt's franchises.
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, I loved it. Like, I think he's a better actor for me, but I think that Cruise probably has way more money than he's made in his career.
It looks like Brad Pitt. It looks like they got divorced, but it wasn't official till 2024, and it looks like he got sober during that 6-7 years of having a divorced Jolie because of the kids and everything, all the legal battles.
Yeah.
He didn't want to look like a big drunk.
Right.
I'd rather be drunk and deal with Cambodian kids than sober.
Just so you know, hot dog.
There's not enough soap in the world to make him clean up his act.
Get out of my sight!
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Put yourself over.
The thing, I think it's fairly, I know it's his opinion and stuff, but I think it's very factual.
I think it's a good theory.
I think it's going to get a ton of hits because nobody's breaking it down like that.
No.
Nobody's.
And it's all about the Benjamins.
It's all about the the petrodollar, basically.
Look at this title. This title got me on Brad Pitt. Let's look it up. Look.
Family stuff?
Yeah. Made him feel suicidal.
And then Dan, gets into the tariff offensive, where Trump tries to throw the tariff on China, and they fucking give him the good news.
Yeah, go fuck yourself on the magnets.
Right.
Oh, that's what you were saying about the Cambodia kids. Having to deal with the family stuff made him suicidal.
Yeah.
And then Ford and Chevy goes to Trump and says, "How are we going to keep our fucking manufacturing plants open if we don't have precious metals?" Motherfucker's pretty smart, isn't he?
Yes.
How's my Chatamungos doing? Hi, everybody.
I didn't see Fury. It was good. Hit the thumbs up, guys.
Yeah, give Danny a motherfucking thumbing. I mean, Jesus. How disrespectful can you be? The guy just got hurt. Didn't fucking miss a day of work. Motherfuckers would probably, most pussies would be fucking in some type of sling and some type of fucking, I can't work for 2 weeks. Dan was fucking in there yesterday, just fucking working away. Didn't miss any time on the show. But his bicycle privileges are being negotiated right now with Steven.
Mm-hmm.
Dan may have a bike. He may have one of those Pelotons. He may not get to go out again. You're the golden goose, Danny. We can't lose you, bud. I mean, I'm the official spokesperson of Diaco Land, and we can't lose you, Danny.
I'll have to start going out with like escorts when I ride.
You're gonna have Danny. I got it, because I'm a big load. You know, I'm a big load, and I go a little faster on my e-bike, so I can go there and pave the way for you.
Right.
I can be your Smokey and the Bandit. You know, I'm the guy that's clearing the way for you. And if I got a fucking major fucking rig that stopped, I'm fucking turning around and fucking stopping you at that corner. Whoa, Dan, settle down, because I'm already half a mile ahead of you, bird dogging. And I would have turned back around and stopped you. So you can hire me for that if you'd like.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
You're hired.
And can you imagine if my fat ass would have hit that thing going 30 on an e-bike? I would have probably been dead.
30 on an e-bike would have been a bad accident.
Yeah, because I usually don't wear a bike helmet.
Yeah, I'd have hurt my head badly if I...
Actually, I do wear a bike helmet now after what happened to Mary Lou. One time when I was... Me, Larry, Mary Lou, and Merch Crick went on a bike ride, and she smashed... Did I ever show you that video?
No.
Oh, my God. We were up in LJ, and she fucking fell over, but had a bike helmet on, smashed her head so bad that she didn't know how many children she had or her husband's name.
Really? She was that much in La La Land, huh?
Yeah, and we took her to the emergency room, and they're like, just keep an eye on her. She's concussed, but you just got to keep an eye on her. And, if she starts vomiting or getting in like that, bring her back in. And she pulled the nose up on it.
Yo, we're back.
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
Don't listen to him. We hate him.
Oh, man, this sucks. What the?
I'd like to move this thing along.
The Love Sponge. Back, despite overwhelming public disapproval. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
So today I am taping a podcast with Pete Rossini, the co-host of Deadly Intentions. Now, we've done 3 episodes. They're all available on YouTube under Deadly Intentions Show. Virtually every platform we have. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and what have you. It's all at Deadly Intentions Show, and that's courtesy of Gary Cantrell. Thank you, Gary. And so last week, usually Deadly Intentions, it's about, serial killers. I think our first one was the Gilgo Beach killer with the Rex Hiraman guy who just got sentenced to 3 life sentences in New York. And then our second one was the Golden State killer, who was a serial killer out of the California area and a cop. And then our third one that we dropped 4 days ago was called Inside the Hunt for Israel Keys, America's most elusive killer. This guy was out of Anchorage, Alaska, and would fly to the continental United States 2 years before he was going to commit a crime and bury basically what he called murder kits, like in the woods somewhere, only he knew where they were, so that when he traveled to that area, one of the things that cops go look for is they go look for surveillance of all the Ace Hardwares and the Home Depots and the Lowe's and see who bought, lime and shovels and bucket, things to kill people with. And when they would go and search they couldn't find any because he'd been there 2 years before. And nobody rolls it back 2 years. I don't even know that surveillance systems, major corporation surveillance systems, even retain something 2 years ago. I don't think they have the ability. I mean, they might, maybe. And so last week when we were taping the cartel, how the North American drug trade works, part 1, which was from like the 1600s clear till 1997 or 87. So we taped that one. That'll be available. And then I just because I was done with Pete and he was getting ready to go home, and I was saying goodbye to him, and I just said, "Hey Pete, you know what? Because he's so smart. He is so smart. He's a financial day trader. He knows a lot about the stock market. He knows a lot about financing. One of the things that he went to prison for is he did a lot of the cartel's money laundering. He would hide the money in various offshore accounts and he just knows a lot about that. And so I just haphazardly said, "Hey Pete, what do you think about this Iran U.S. war, epic fury? Like, are we ever going to get out of it? Is there a way out? How did we get in? Did we get in for the right reasons? What's going to happen?" And he started in on this whole thing. I mean, he started really breaking it down, unlike any way that I've had anybody break it down before. Dan touched on it. I've since printed out Pete's notes for today because he sends me like a whole packet that I need to be, as the co-host, that I need to be prepared for and ask questions and what have you. And so he sent this packet late last night, and so I printed it, but I printed a copy for Dan too, because I wanted to Dan, because this is what Pete's going to talk about today. And so I printed a copy for Dan. And Dan, what, just off the top of your head, or just, what do you think of 1, 2, 3, 4, like his 6-page packet? I know you've gone through the talking points and various things. What's your opinion?
I think that he's dead on. And like I said, I think, the whole problem with oil and us is that we're trying to protect oil being traded in dollars and not in another currency. And our interests in protecting the dollar include protecting those that are trying to trade oil outside of the dollar. And that's one of the reasons we hit Venezuela as well as Iran. It makes sense. And the other thing is, we tried to squeeze China, but then China squeezed us back with the rare earth.
And now
metals.
And now we look stupid because China said, "Oh, you're going to put 150% tax or tariff on us? That's okay. We're going to completely stop the exports of precious metals and magnets." That's where we get like all of the Raytheon and Boeing and Ford and Chevy and anybody that makes cars or trucks or weapon systems or airplanes all need precious metals and magnets, and they get the majority of those from China. So when Ford and Chevy and Boeing and Raytheon all go to Trump and say, "Hey man, your tariff's great, but they have shut down all precious metal exports to us, and we can't build our product. We're going to have to shut plants down." So, I mean, to summarize, here's what the summary is. To understand why the administration was forced into a multi-front decapitation strategy in late 2025, one must first understand the structural insolvency of the post-1945 U.S. dollar system. The American empire functioned solely by forcing foreign nations to buy U.S. Treasury bonds to pay off old, maturing debt. That is kind of the summary of what he gets into. And I have not heard anybody break it down like this yet. Fox, CNN, NBC, CBS, ABC, Bill Maher, Joe Rogan.
They don't want us to know that.
I don't know that anybody has. Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson. Tucker's not afraid to say anything. I've never heard Tucker have a guy come on and talk about all of this. And
I'm the first guy that ever mentioned the fact that we were trying to protect the dollar from outside currencies.
Yeah, and nobody that was that wasn't a long ass discussion. It was just a fleeting observation.
Mm-hmm.
So today, man, Pete, I don't know if we can. You did tell me yesterday some good news that we might be able to get it up by Thursday based on this new guy that Gary's using, but we might not be able to either, and it might wait till next Thursday. Either's good with me.
Okay.
If it takes till next Thursday, because Dan, here's the deal. I don't think that we're going to have this war resolved by next Thursday.
Never.
So,
not at this pace.
So what I'm saying is this is somewhat timely, but not timely enough that I could take a week and 3 or 4 days to really, really make sure it's done correctly. So what I'm saying, Lummy, is let's not even plan for this Thursday. Let's plan for next.
Okay.
And then let's really let's make sure we get into the Shutterfly and really have, a little bit more graphics than we usually have because, you can find, with regards to this particular war and what we're doing and the missiles we're blasting off and, the bond market and interest rate, you can find all of that modern day pretty quickly. Just have Gary and the other guy try to build quite a bit of graphics in this particular piece.
Will do.
I'm taping this with Pete today. I am so excited. Just because, I got one of the smartest people that I know in the world, Dr. Dan Diaco, and he went through the 6 pages and he was like, wow, this guy is dead on, and there's nobody talking about this. I mean, Dan, outside of your fleeting, hey, this is all about the U.S. petrodollar, I don't know that I have seen anybody break it down this extensively.
No, they haven't.
So I taped that today. We'll drop it next Thursday. It is going to be absolutely brilliant. If it's as brilliant as what he was describing to me last week, 2 weeks ago, I mean, we were scheduled to tape Cartel Part 2 today. And whoa, hold on. The Cartel Part 2, we can tape that anytime. That's not timely. The information that you're telling me as to why America is involved in this epic fury, how we got there, why we got there, where we're heading, and how fragile our economy is, and how we really, really shouldn't have probably screwed with China, and we probably shouldn't have done this. Nobody's saying that. That's far more timely, and I got to get that on the air than Cartel 2. So Cartel 2 will be thereafter. Next week's kind of a special. Next Thursday's kind of a special, as kind of a pop culture as it's happening special, and I can't wait. Here's a Brad Pitt piece.
Brad Pitt says he's drinking alcohol again after 7 years of sobriety.
After 7 years of going through a divorce with Cambodian kids. And big ass headed Angelina Jolie, who she's hot, but the hotter you are, the more batshit crazy you are too. Can we at least all agree to that? The hotter and Dan, you dabble in this world and have the hotter a chick is, the chances is the more crazy she is deep down.
Yep.
Yeah. You get some chick that's like a 7 or an 8, maybe even an 8.5. That bitch is probably pretty buttoned up. Got her crap together a little bit. You get a 9 or a 10, she has absolutely been coddled and handled all of her life, glad-handed all of her life, very rarely told no because she's so hot and people just fall over themselves to be, with or by or her friend, and she doesn't really have a concept on how life really works. because she's been glad-handed all of her life and just pushed through. Listen, America, or the world for that matter, we are still very much built on looks. If you're good-looking, really good-looking, you get a pass in life. You do. I mean, even though today's society, we want to put fat black girls on the Sports Illustrated cover, that's okay. We can get, we've tried to become inclusive.
Well, the black pass has been around for 40 years.
But we try to be inclusive and woke and all this kind of deal. But when push comes to shove, it's all about being hot. If you're hot, I mean noticeably hot, then you're going to get a pass in life. Right?
They just handed me an MD.
Yeah. Dan's hot, and they said you don't have to go to medical school.
Here you go, kid.
You're a doctor, and you know what? While we're at it, go ahead and be a lawyer too. You good-looking son of a bitch. I mean, what else do you want to be? You want to be the sheriff? You want to be the governor? What do you want to be? You're so goddamn hot, buddy. What do you got? I mean, tell me of the last. Hold on, I got news. Tell me of the last just grotesquely ugly politician. We don't elect ugly people for the most part. Well, it's getting a little bit where we kind of do, but clear up until recently, even politicians and mayors and they had to be kind of not grotesque.
Isn't there like a light bulb head Somali congressman?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I said we've kind of strayed away from that in today's woke trans weirdness, but when you are good looking, attractive, like stunningly attractive, like, we've all been in the bar where hot chicks walk in and then there's the 10 that walks in, right? And everybody's like, oh, Jesus, God, what the hell is going, whew. That bitch has been handed a pass all of her life.
The topic came up when the F1 and Fight Club actor was doing a recent interview.
By the way, the F1 movie was great, and he did a great job in it.
Great job.
I know. I mean, he did. He, honest to God, really made you believe that he had the skill set to be an F1 driver. It was shot so well, and he did such a good job.
Stallone made a movie like this, and it was horrible.
Stallone made It's called Driven. It was horrible. Remember when he did Ford vs. Ferrari?
Yeah.
Brad Pitt. That was believable and shot well.
For Esquire, Pitt offered the interviewer a glass of wine, which prompted the reporter to ask him whether the wine was only for guests. Pitt said, "No, I was sober for 7 years." He continued with a little laugh, and then I got back off the wagon. The actor went on to clarify that his drinking is now in a more restrained manner. I got overconfident a couple.
He's kind of looking old there, isn't he?
He is old.
I know, but he's kind of looking like he's kind of showing his age there a little bit.
Yeah,
right there.
old.
Times went, yep, nope, not good for me.
I think it's his hair. I
think his hair
long.
His bags under his eyes don't help.
Yeah, it's true. And Dan, you got procedures for that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Not in big quantities. When asked what
I heard, and Dan, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I heard the reason why people get bags in their eyes is because they don't have a certain lymph, like a gland drainage, and it's from that particular gland or whatever's underneath your eye.
That's when you get a festoon, which is a little bit lower. You ever see them like not that much lower, but like half-inch lower?
Is it from not good drainage
it
of your
could be,
sinuses?
It is. It could be a fluid buildup.
So do you go in there and just try to strip out?
It's hard to get rid of it.
Oh.
That meant in practice, the 62.
I mean, you have to have a bag under your eye surgery.
Yeah.
Do you?
I have it. I do it.
Yeah. What does that entail?
Well, if it's just confined to the eyelid, you take out the fat from the inside, you take out the skin from the outside, and sometimes you do a little courtesy stitch to prevent it from getting stretched out.
2-year-old Star explained, "I can have a few glasses of wine, but I can't have a lot. I have to be professional about it." In a 20...
You just go to... Now, see, he looks good there, but is that 17? He should just go to weed.
I think he does that too.
17 GQ interview, Pitt talked about getting sober. A couple years later...
Yeah, if you got weed, you don't need alcohol. You don't.
He told the New York...
I guess you can stack, right? Let me bodybuilders stack, Decoy on top of test. I guess you could stack, weed on top of wine, I guess, maybe for a kicker.
Yeah, sometimes some people have a little bourbon.
Yeah.
Times that he spent a year and a half in an all-male recovery group in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Sounds like boring to me.
Yeah.
All-male recovery group?
Yeah.
Massage night.
And in 2020, Pitt publicly thanked Bradley Cooper at the National Board of Review Gala for helping him get sober.
I got sober because of this guy, and every day has been happier ever since.
Yeah, you're lying.
Again, I thank you.
The actor can next be seen reprising his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood role of stuntman Cliff Booth in Netflix's The Adventures of Cliff Booth movie. The film is set to be released November 25th as an IMAX exclusive for 2 weeks before debuting on Netflix on December 23rd. For more on this story,
All right, thanks, Brad Pitt. You're back on. You're back on the wine, which is great. Now I can't, for the life of me, and I'm liberal when it comes to abortion. I'm conservative when it comes to, gun rights. I'm in the liberal lane when it comes to abortion. I probably find myself dabbling in the conservative lane, a little bit more than the liberal lane. It seems like the liberal lane has gotten somewhat woke and weird, and the liberal, the Bill Clinton and Barack Obama Democrats don't seem to really exist anymore. The AOCs and the Madamis and the Abdul al-Sayed, those are, I think Fetterman might switch parties because he's, dancing more towards a Republican than he is a Democrat, because the Fetterman Democrats are kind of getting outnumbered by the AOCs and all these weirdos.
The progressive / Democratic Socialists of America.
They may kick him out of the party.
That's not what the Brian Matroni and, John Morgan and, some of the great liberals that I know that are Democratic, they don't believe in this Democratic Socialists of America, DSA, DEI, woke, just woke and weird, where they make topics that the average American can't really wrap their head around. Like the average American isn't worried about trans athletes, and the average American, isn't worried about, inclusion of Somali daycares in Minneapolis and various things like that. And again, I believe in abortion. I believe in the woman's right to do with her body. But I do put a little bit of a limitation on that. And, I've kind of gone to like 23, 24 weeks. I think Dan has, as a doctor, told us that that's about the point of viability, meaning, at 24, 25 weeks, the baby can live. If it was preemie, or the baby can make it if it was to be delivered at 25 weeks, for the most part, under normal circumstances. So that's where I cut off abortion. In my little world, I believe, and I think I've said this a lot, that you should be able to take your 18-year-old girlfriend to the abortion clinic when she's 20 weeks pregnant with your handgun, smoking a joint. I mean, I think that covers it all, doesn't it? And I think that's the way probably most of us, and particularly the Bubba Army, I think most of us are kind of that way. Dan, I would say that you're probably that way.
Yeah, pretty close to that.
So Massachusetts yesterday, the governor signed a bill that legalizes abortion clear up until the day the baby is born.
Ooh, that's gross.
The law replaces the... Now, see, I have no problem with what Massachusetts had. And here's their law that just... the law that the governor signed into law yesterday replaced this law. And this law's money. This law's money. You ready? The law replaces the state's previous general restriction on abortions after 24 weeks. That's perfect. That 24 weeks is what I've been, and Dan have been screaming forever.
Between 20 and 24 is the magic window.
Right. And so Massachusetts you can get an abortion up until 24 weeks. That is pretty cool. That, not by you hardcore religious, conservatives. You think that, like Florida, you can't even get an abortion on week 7. You got 6 weeks to get an abortion. Hell, most Down syndrome, hair lip, like your baby's going to have problems, don't appear, Dan, 13, 14, 15 weeks?
Yeah, you do like a test screen around 12 weeks. You can do an ultrasound around 16 weeks. And between those two, you're supposed to catch most of the problems.
Right.
But if you don't have the ability to terminate the pregnancy afterwards, then why even do those tests? Because
Right.
you're screwed anyway. You're going to get the baby.
You're having a baby. And so Massachusetts yesterday, a blue state, just legalized abortion clear up until birth, surrounded by applauding women. Massachusetts Governor Mira Healy signed a sweeping abortion bill Monday that removes the state's gestational age limit, giving healthcare providers greater discretion to perform abortions later in pregnancy. The law replaces the state's previous general restriction on abortions after 24 weeks with limited exceptions, and that is set to take effect in 90 days. Massachusetts becomes the 10th state to remove gestational age limits. Dan, what does that mean?
That means you can get an abortion right up until the end. A gestational age limit means like 30 weeks, 40 weeks.
So okay, and theirs was 24, which I can live with.
Now it's 40.
That's liberal. That's liberal, but I'm good with it. But clear up until the babe, and the day before the baby is set to. That's a real. And even at 24 weeks, you're dealing with the little person.
It's a baby. It looks like a baby at 24 weeks.
And so the only reason I like it to be latter, like between 16 and 24, is because there's a lot of things that new mom and dads can test for that won't rear their ugly head until that late. So that gives people the option. Listen, I don't want a retarded baby. I don't want a baby with Down syndrome. I don't want a baby that's autistic. I don't want a baby that is going to require me to, after the age of 18, to continue to parent, clothe, feed, and house this child. I want to have the all-American kid that's healthy and at 18 leaves the house, goes to trade school, goes to college, starts whatever the hell. But, there comes a point where, and in today's world, sometimes kids live with their parents until they're 23, 24, because they're trying to figure out what they're going to do in life. I don't have a problem with that either, because, eventually they're going to leave. You don't have to, when Corky is 40, because he's got Down syndrome.
He ain't going nowhere.
You have a life sentence.
And what happens is, the problem with the kids with Down syndrome is they have old parents to begin with.
Right.
So by the time the kid hits 40, the parents are in their
70,
80s.
Yeah, 80.
And you're screwed. There's no one to take care of the kids. We have all these Down syndrome kids that don't die until their late 50s.
And realistically,
no one taking care of them.
Their parents need care at that point too.
Right.
They need somebody to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going into a home or something like that. You got Cork that's 45 that because they lived in Indiana or Florida and had a 6-week abortion ban, and at 12 weeks they tell this family, hey, you're going to have a fully blown Down syndrome with a retarded kid kicker, and you can't do nothing about it. Well, that's why I'm liberal in the fact that I think that it should be a little bit later, but certainly not 40 weeks, the day before the kid's getting ready to be a kid. This is the governor signing the bill. You whack job. Listen, there's not
Is she married? Does she have a wedding band on?
I don't think so. Who'd marry this old hag? But here's the deal, man. Like 24 weeks is the best of both worlds here. That's late enough for you to be able to find anything that could potentially be wrong with this kid. I mean, Dan, I think that, from 24 to 40 weeks, you're kind of in the just coasting zone. You're just You're just growing this baby.
It's just growing. It hasn't changed. Doesn't change much those last 8 weeks.
Right,
It's just a matter of just getting larger.
Like Danny said,
it's formed.
Between 12 and 24 weeks is where all the bad stuff that's going to happen comes out.
She's married.
She is.
Yeah. To Joanna.
Man, so
she's a lesbian.
I don't know why.
She's a lesbian.
Yeah, there she goes.
So she didn't have any babies to kill.
No. I
was going to ask, is that girl in the white her lover?
I got rid of it. When we return, I gotta go to words. But when we return, did Trump have an assassination attempt, or was there information that the Secret Service gathered to say that there's a potential assassination attempt on Trump? And the story that we got, Lummy, is that Trump had to hide in a catering type rolling bin truck deal.
Yeah, they put him in a catering truck and rolled him to I think it's the C-32.
Now, so I think he was using the new cutter Air Force One.
Yes.
And I don't know if doesn't have certain things that the regular Air Force One has, or did they put him in a whole nother plane that wasn't even marked as Air Force One?
So it looks like
an undercover, bomber or something.
They announced that they were going to use the old one, and then they even switched that and did the Air Force Two, the one the vice president flies on.
All because of intel they got. And these stinky Iranians, man, they're trying to kill him, right?
Yes.
We'll get to that next. There was intel that the Secret Service found out late yesterday as to where was Trump traveling to?
He was in Turkey for the NATO conference.
Again, Turkey?
Yeah.
The second time it happened.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had the plane switch coming out of Turkey.
Yeah. Yeah, don't you think, one, Dan, I wouldn't be going to Turkey.
Nope.
And two, these Iranians, they're getting closer and closer and closer. You better bomb that supreme leader, my friend. Pete's going to break it down today like you wouldn't believe. I can't wait for you guys to hear this next Thursday.
Does he have him bombing the supreme leader?
Or
they got to find out.
You got to find out. I need to look at my notes. When we come back, we're going to get into the Trump assassination attempt scare intel gimmick when we return.
I began to hallucinate and thought a houseplant was talking to me.
Prescription medication.
Oh, man.
Prescription medication.
Rare delicacy.
It takes a lot of great prescription medication to make the show sound this mediocre. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
Air Force Two. They didn't announce it or anything.
Well, I was told that there was some malware in the controls of one of the planes that was susceptible to it. And they were talking about taking over the plane in midair, wrecking it.
And that's why then they were going to go the old one.
I mean, what the fuck, right?
Yeah, well, he's got just like last time. He's got snakes all around him.
Oh, you think it's his staff that would do it?
No,
It's hard
not
telling.
It's not his primary staff. It's the secondary people. And you gotta be so diverse, they're not all white males. He's got diversity, and so some of them may be tainted.
I think Iran would be stupid to assassinate Trump. Because then you get J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance is a little bit smarter than Trump.
J.D. Vance is smart.
That's what I'm saying. He's smarter than Trump. Yes, I know. Sorry, Macho. Paperwork. What's up, Joe? Oh, is it Hogan's birthday?
Oh, yeah, today's Hogan's birthday.
His heavenly birthday, Joe.
Let me maybe find the Happy Biz birthday.
Okay.
Carney gimmick.
Also, Bubba, after this, I was sending you an article, but Gary wanted to know if you wanted to make a comment on it for a short. I just sent it to you.
Okay. I'm trying to get to that Trump stuff now.
Do I need to resend it, or
What's that?
do I need to resend it?
Resend what?
The Trump stuff?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Can I find it anywhere than AOL?
Blooming's not in here.
Okay, let me try to find if it's yeah, I can find it on the Sun or Yahoo.
Do you want to come back with the Hogan birthday song? Or do you want to play it yourself? Because I got it right there.
No, just have him put it on.
Okay.
And we'll say today's Hogan's birthday.
Okay.
Tampa Bay's trusted source for lawnmowers, landscape equipment, lifts, loaders, service, and repairs. I'm talking about Les of Tampa Bay. 3 convenient locations, Bradenton, Clearwater, and Wesley Chapel. They're much more than your lawnmower and outdoor power equipment shop. They strive to provide quality products and top service at the best prices. What sets Les apart from the competition? Their relationship with you. Also the exclusive home dealer of Skag. Whether you need parts and service or you need a brand new unit, Les of Tampa Bay will take care of you. More information, Les, L-E-S-S, LesTampaBay.com.
Welcome back. Decades of dominance. Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Look in your camera outside. I got my Bubba Army shirt on and I'm coming in to kiss you. Happy birthday to you.
Today, happy heavenly birthday to my former best friend in life, best man of my wedding, godfather of my son. And there was this little sex tape that kind of wasn't very healthy for our relationship. But I mean, if you were to look at it in a different way, Hogan never made $70 million in his life, ever. With regard, well, maybe cumulatively for his entire work, potentially. I don't even know that he made that much. I know that he was clipping off about $10 million a year for about 3 years for Turner, but I don't know that he made $40 million with Vince overall. So the sex tape saved him and gave him made him a very wealthy man. It destroyed me.
How old would he be now?
I think he was 70. Was he 72 when he died? And this would be the 1 year anniversary of his birthday. So I think he might have been. Today would have been his 73rd birthday. Let's ask Dumb Bitch. Okay, that's her new name, by the way.
Dumb Bitch.
Hey, Alexa, Dumb Bitch. How old would Hulk Hogan have been today? Shazim. Hey, Alexa. Good morning.
Good morning. Author Alex Haley was born on this day in 1921. His book Roots was adapted into one of the most watched TV
miniseries.
miniseries.
You're going to do the author of Roots, but not Hulk Hogan.
Work.
Tell me that's not racial.
Writing, as much as I could, I tried to find the good and praise it.
Hey, Alexa, who else's birthday is it today, famous people-wise?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Yeah. Hey, Alexa, when's Hulk Hogan's birthday? August 11th.
Hulk Hogan was born on August 11th, 1953.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
72?
Would have been
73.
No, he'd be 73.
Oh.
Hey, Alexa, how old would Hulk Hogan be today?
As of August 11th, 2026, Hulk Hogan would be 72 years old.
72? He died at 71?
Yes, he did.
Wow. Happy heavenly birthday, Hulk. Not that you're listening. You know what really could have really changed my life is when the feds did the Sand Pearl the Sand Pearl Hotel sting and arrested Spice Boy and Keith Davidson and Lori Burbidge. They got Lori Burbidge and Keith Davidson at the actual hotel because Spice Boy sent his wife's best friend, Lori Burbidge, who used to be a Bank of America teller, to do his dirty work because he didn't want Hogan to know that he was the one that stole the tape. So he sent what they call a proxy. But when the feds arrested Keith Davidson, the broker of the sex tape, and Lori Burbidge, Spice's proxy, she starts singing like a canary, and they go and pick up Spice Boy that night at the International Mall. He was shopping with his wife.
How did they know he was there?
Huh?
How'd they know he was there?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. I know this. Earlier that night, Dan, Brent and I did a happy hour at the Pit House Club celebrating my divorce was final. And he showed up. This was December 12th.
Spice showed up?
Spice showed up. He'd already left the show, and he was doing nights over at the Bone, and he'd already brokered and stole the tape unbeknownst to me. And so I didn't know. We weren't privy to the FBI intel until later, as the lawsuit started, getting through deposition process and stuff. I was with your brother when they were deposing me. Gawker was deposing me, and Gawker keeps asking, and Jay was there, and he was my attorney. They had all these Philadelphia and New York. The whole place was chock full of attorneys, and I had Jay, who was the best out of all of them. And they start asking me these questions. So, Mr. Clem, do you know a guy named Mike Calto? I'm like, yeah. Don't forget, at this time, I still worked at the Bone. I was the Bone mornings, and he was afternoon drive. And I had, the entire world had thought that I was the person that taped the tape and then tried to broker that sex tape and gain from it. When really I'm just the only thing I really did was tape it. Well, I let Hogan blast Heather. Mistake 1, trying to do a friend a favor. Mistake 2, I taped it. Mistake 3 is that I kept a copy in my work drawer because I was going through a divorce. I should have just destroyed. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I should have never taped it. I should have never let Hogan blast her. I'm guilty as charged and all that, but I didn't steal it and start shopping it around Hollywood. So I start actually getting a little bit of blowback and some chatter about there's a guy that's shopping a sex tape with your wife through Digital Playground, Vivid, all these porn places that distributed porn, and all these porn places were telling whoever was brokering this tape, no, you don't have a 2257 consent form for the two people that are depicted in the tape, Heather and Terry. We can't touch it. Legally, we can't touch it. So they shop it and shop it and shop it. Finally, Gawker bites. But Salami, I'm sitting there in the depositions, okay? And this is Gawker. This is Hogan suing Gawker. And I don't know of anybody. I don't know who. The whole world thinks I did it, but I did it. So they keep asking me, Mr. Clem, do you know a guy named Mike Calto? I'm like, yeah. Okay. Do you know a guy named Don Buchwald? And do you know a guy named Tony? What's the guy's name? Tony Burton. Yeah. Okay. And they keep asking and keep asking and keep asking. And finally, we go to recess. and Jay takes me to the break, like every law firm has kind of like a little kitchen break room kind of deal. And this was a real fancy law firm. I forget where it was, but they had a real nice elaborate one, pretty big. Me and Jay, it was big enough that me and Jay can kind of get in a corner by ourselves while the other attorneys were getting coffee and sodas and what have you. And Jay says, I asked Jay, why are they asking me about Calta? And why are they asking me about Tony Burton and all this kind of deal? And Jay goes, well, I have been given some stuff that you don't know. It's called an FBI 302 report. And the FBI did a sting on the Sand Pearl Hotel, and they're tracing it back to Spice Boy and Mike Calta are the people that stole the tape. And I remember, I'm like, hold on, Jay. And me and Jay walked out of the office, and I called Tom Bean immediately because I was still working for Cox at the time. And Tom Bean gets Keith Lawless, who was the market manager at Tampa, on the phone. And guess who gets fired the next day? Spice Boy. Spice Boy got fired. They still don't believe the Calta connection because that wasn't really proven until later when Hogan won Hogan versus Gawker, and then the next lawsuit was Hogan versus Cox. And as he started doing discovery on that, he now found all of the Calta and Tony Burton, involvement. And that's basically what Video Killed the Radio Star, the documentary, does. Is it kind of like it's if Cox and Hogan would not have settled and the lawsuit went through, that's kind of the premise of Video Killed the Radio Star. But Cox did not want it to go through because, it was already awarded in the same judicial court system, the Sixth Circuit of Pinellas County. Dan, Hogan could argue to Cox when they were in arbitration and settlement agreements, hey, as a lawyer, Dan, I think that, his lawyers could say, hey, Cox, we already know what this is worth. A jury in the same jurisdiction, the same jury pool that we're gonna pick from, they've already determined that this is worth $141 million. So, where are we gonna start negotiating at? And so, really, Hogan was ordered Hogan was won $110 million, and then the other 30 some was punitive. So the actual value of the tape and the invasion of his privacy was awarded by a Pinellas County court at $110 million. Well,
wow.
I don't know. Well, that's fact, right? I mean,
wow.
we have a jury. So what do you think? What do you think, Ken Trickell? This is strictly my opinion. I don't have any information to give anybody this type of number, but I've been told, rumor on the streets, is that Cox offered him 50% of what he was awarded by a jury, and they thought, $55 million. And at that point, Dan, you're probably getting a pretty damn good deal because this thing's already been tried once, and we're just basically using the same data, except from in this instance, the first people we sued were the people that published it. Now we're taking a second bite at the apple, and we're going to find out the people that stole it and distributed it.
Right.
And so when Cox says, hey, well, and I'm just all speaking, hypothetically and hyperbole, but when Cox tells Ken Trickell, hey, give us a 50% haircut and we'll pay it right now, $55 million. You take that deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you take
you're guilty.
When you're guilty, you take that deal. A day, so I've been told, don't know it to be true, a day before Mike Calta's deposition is the day Cox settled. How this guy has been able to survive, I got fired. I was the number one rated guy by a lot, and a $755,000 fine got me cooked, mostly because the federal government told Clear Channel, listen, part of paying your fine is firing this guy. And they fired me. I don't know how this guy continues to survive. How do you survive a lawsuit that you caused and your company had to pay $55 million for? Again,
and they fired Spice that day, and they didn't fire Calta. That doesn't make sense.
No, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Again, I don't know any of that to be true. It's rumor.
No, spices no calta.
Yeah. So let me. Here is. I don't know how I got down that path. Here is the Trump secretly switches planes and was hidden into a catering truck when they were. Probably everybody thought he was on plane A.
No, they thought he was on plane B.
Plane B.
Yes.
And because they had publicly said, we have some intel that, the president could be at risk for being on Air Force plane A. So they, at that point, publicly said, we're going to put him on plane B. But once he got on plane B, it's my understanding the way this all shakes out, Lummy, is once he got on plane B, then they put him in a catering, rolling cart, and stuffed him in that, and act like it was just catering that was getting rolled off the plane, and they rolled him onto plane C. Am I correct?
Yes.
In a catering cart. Now, what type
in
of
Turkey?
What type of intel? You have to have some pretty, probably disturbing intel for you to stuff the president in a catering cart and sneak him onto a plane that nobody knows about. When these planes, are equipped to, combat anything of terrorism. Dan said that he thought he's read an article where they had maybe potentially installed malware into the plane's computer system and would be able to take over the plane mid-flight, potentially crashing it. That's what Dan said he saw. Here's the story.
Candidly, this was a surreal story to cover. The initial discussions, the initial tip, and then looking into it, I kept finding myself saying, what am I missing? Is this true?
President Trump was seen boarding Air Force One at 8:24 p.m. local time on July 8th.
So that's Air Force One.
Yes.
Plane A. Right, Dan? Right?
Yeah, this is the one from July. This is the second time it's happened. This is the first
But
time.
actually,
I guess so, yeah.
according to the Post, and you can see
So
here.
this is the first time, but we're getting more data?
Yeah.
All right.
So this is. I absolutely read that on this occasion in July, they were going to take that plane down, and the malware came out of America.
Oh.
Had nothing to do with Turkey.
Really?
Yep.
So
bad people in America.
Maybe we got some
the swamp.
Bad guys that are potentially part of his inner circle or his cabinet or something.
High up enough to cause damage.
High up enough to know, what plane he's going to be on at what time, and what. Yeah, that's disturbing.
Trump and several of his aides were secretly shuttled minutes later onto this airport catering truck, which was elevated and positioned at a door out of the view of the cameras. Now, the Post reports that the president was on that catering truck when it pulled away from Air Force One.
If you're just looking at this plane, you would never suspect that that's anything but a catering truck, right?
8:30 p.m., secretly bringing him to a smaller plane, an Air Force C-32A, making the Air Force One that everyone thought he was on a decoy that still had the reporters who thought the president had boarded that plane and who you see boarding right here on the right.
So the reporters, they, a lot of times after an hour or so and the president's had a chance to chill out, whatever, maybe look at some porn, he'll come out and talk to the pool of White House correspondents, and they got a little area they sit in, and he'll come out and talk to them. Well, I wonder if they're like, man, the president's being a real dick this flight. He ain't coming out or nothing. Right? Because, I think he comes out almost every flight and talks to him a little bit.
Yeah, he addresses them.
White House staff aboard. The Washington Post reports, and I quote, the maneuver meant that the president's actual location was concealed from the American public and many senior U.S. officials for hours. Air Force One then landed in the UK hours later.
The most significant piece here is that for weeks now, the American public.
Yeah, we've not known about this at all. I don't even know why they're telling us now, unless somebody sniffed it out.
They're trying to make him look bad, and again, he was trying to protect himself.
I don't know why he looked. I wouldn't, even if I didn't like Donald Trump, I wouldn't look at, if this was Joe Biden, I wouldn't look down upon the guy. This is his safety, and he doesn't determine his safety. He's completely controlled by the Secret Service to the point where they can overrule him.
For his own safety.
Yes, for his own safety.
The name of safety.
I feel like a lot of times Clinton I heard stories like Clinton would like at 10 or 11 o'clock want to go to McDonald's, and he would like want to like get his jogging suit on and like,
go
jog down to McDonald's, and they would sometimes say, Mr. President, we are not allowing you. Like, and even you being the commander in chief, the highest ranking yippee-yo, I think there's some provisions in the Constitution or some type of amendment where the Secret Service can, at the end of the day, stop the president from doing some type of unplanned act that they haven't had time to plan. The route, the precautions that they need, and they can potentially shut the president down if he's got one of these whimsical "I want to go somewhere" ideas.
I just realized why she's trying to paint a negative picture on this, because
why?
Here's the negative picture. I just figured it out. It's the chat helped put the puzzle
Chat
together.
Did?
Yeah,
man, chat. See, Lummy, chat's the best.
Yes,
we love you, chat.
That CNN is pissed off. That's what the officials didn't know where he was for hours and trying to make him look bad. The reason they're pissed off is because he thought that plane was dangerous and he left the press crew on there. So the press corps was on the decoy plane that may be blowing up, and he was on another plane. And that's why they're pissed, because
right.
He left us as the decoys.
Right.
F off.
Listen. I was going to say, he's also hanging out his pilots and, all of his cabinet. There was probably a lot of important people on that plane, but at the end of the day, you got to save one. There's one guy you got to save.
The two Air Force One jets.
Oh, okay, great. Hey, Jay.
Good morning.
How you doing, bud?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
The newer one from Qatar and the older one from the last couple decades of operations. And in reality, the president was on neither plane. This came to the Post in part because individuals thought that there was a hole in public understanding here that needed to be clarified.
Pause it.
Not an easy story to confirm. It obviously.
Do you see her shaking her head in disgust as he's explaining it? Do you see her little
I rewinded it.
Crappy little
individuals
smile as she keeps shaking her head?
Public understanding here that needed to be clarified. Not an easy story.
Let me see, Dan. I don't quite pick it up yet.
No, it was before that.
All right, here.
From the last couple decades of operations, and in reality, the president was on neither plane. This came to the Post in part because individuals
a little bit.
Thought that there was a hole in public understanding here.
She's pretty attractive.
That needed to be
She's
clarified.
pretty in real life.
That's the one that Trump roasted at the correspondence dinner.
Yeah, well, she was a nasty person in the first time she got a one-on-one
call her
interview.
a bitch, I know, but Jay's here, so he quells you down a little bit.
I can just quote what Trump said. That's worse than anything Dan had said.
Obviously took some time since that event.
But you're right, Dan. Chat put it together and helped you frame it. But that is, they're all.
She's irritated by it.
Butthurt because he potentially left a not so safe situation to be on a safer situation, and at that point, man, there comes a point where had they unloaded everybody, now the jig's up. Like now the secretness of you intercepting potentially some intel is now up. Like now what your end result is trying to get the president on a plane that people don't know he's in. And the minute you start loading up additional press people and what have you, now you've blown your cover.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, when all bets are off, you got to protect one guy.
Right, but the story's not that he concealed it from the media and America didn't know. The story is there was such a significant threat that he got in a truck and went into a different vehicle or plane that no one had any idea he was there for weeks.
And not a plane, Jay, that's actually necessarily equipped to be the most safe. Like a
catering truck,
right?
Behind closed doors and into another one, and the press is all butthurt because they didn't know about it. And the truth is, this is a success. We didn't know anything about it. There are certain things we shouldn't know about, like what the Secret Service does to protect the president.
Yeah, God forbid.
To put this all together and put this together in a way that was convincing and
I think I think it's brilliant work. They should be commended.
And I would say the same thing if it were Biden or Obama.
Me too. I would have said, listen,
good job, Secret Service.
I don't necessarily like these guys. I didn't vote for them, but I want their safety. They're the president of our United States, and the last thing we need is for our president, regardless if he's your guy or your girl or not, is to be killed. That's going to be absolutely the most unhealthy thing for our country.
Yes.
Regardless of the political affiliation, if Butler, Pennsylvania would have been successful and it was, within millimeters of being successful. I mean, Dan, what was he? Probably 3, 4, 5, 6 centimeters from dying.
Oh, he was 2 centimeters from dying, which is 20 millimeters.
Yeah. Jay, before I go into words, did you hear me recanting when we were with the Gawker, the Hogan v. Gawker deal? And they keep asking me about Mike Calta and Mike Calta and Mike Calta. And I'm like, finally, you and I are in the break room, and you're like, Bubba, I've just been handed some information from the FBI, and this is where Gawker's getting all their intel as to ask you about Mike Calta. But here's how it went down. And I looked at you, and I go, we got to call Tom Bean.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yep. It was one of the most remarkable days of my career because it was literally me and you versus 10 lawyers.
Oh yeah, from Philly and New York and
including Hogan. Hogan had 3 at the table.
And you were holding your own.
There
I
were
remember there was one time where they tried to buffalo Jay into me answering something, and Jay
about the N-word.
And Jay said, I think there was actually a magistrate in.
There was.
So Jay goes, let's ask Your Honor.
No, I said, Your Honor, we're not going to allow them to Martha Stewart Mr. Clem. This case doesn't have to do with the N-word. This is about a sex tape. I don't know what they're asking about, but I'm going to instruct him not to answer that question. Don't answer that question, Mr. Clem. And then
they flipped out.
And then the magistrate took it under advisement. You and I went in that little break room, and you were all like rubbing me uncomfortably hard in my shoulders, but you were
traps.
so happy that I did that.
I was rubbing. I squeezed Jay's traps, and he's like, "You squeezed me much too hard,
much too hard."
And
so
I'm going crazy on Jay. I'm like, "Yeah, Jay, thank you for not having me do that."
Do you remember why it was so important? We had no idea that the sex tape had the word the N-word on it.
No, we didn't have any idea.
They didn't give that part of the tape yet. It was just the initial clip, which didn't have the context of the comments about the boyfriend.
But they were setting themselves up for the N-word
controversy. They were setting you up
controversy.
for being a liar. Have you ever heard? Do you ever know? Has he ever said? It was ridiculous. It had nothing to do with it.
Here's the deal. If you actually break the tape down, I wasn't even in the room for that.
Right.
So I could have answered, I don't know. I don't know. And remember, they just kept
That probably would have been your
killing.
answer if they'd asked, but you didn't even have to ask it.
I didn't have to ask her. It was great.
I didn't let you.
Jay's been Jay, whether it was that or the MJ depots, man, we've been in the trenches together, bro.
We've been there for a long time. Remember the first time I ever came around, it was in a depot regarding some other conflict you had with one of your employers, and you were wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
And I'd never sat with you in a deposition, and it was someone else's depot, and I was just there as personal counsel. And within the first 30 seconds, I spoke up about your glasses and shut them all down.
No, they're like, Mr. Clem, you can't wear glasses. And I'm like, yeah, I need them. They're like, Mr. Clem, you can't wear glasses. And then about maybe after them asking that 2 or 3 times, Jay walks up and says, I'm personal counsel for Mr. Clem, and he needs those glasses to be able to be here today. So Jay, are you saying the prescription? I don't know what Mr. Clem's prescription is per se, but I know that he needs those glasses.
That's right.
And they're like, all right. We're not they just like, all right, we're not going to fight that we're not going to fight that battle.
I had a 4-hour hearing yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, it was 3 hours.
Not a depot, a hearing.
A hearing.
How does a hearing go 4 hours?
In person, like the old days in the Schnitt case, where you're sitting in the judge's chambers and you're across the table from each other, and you're just arguing about certain issues. And so, this was my first time to be in front of this judge arguing this issue.
What county? Pinellas, Hillsborough.
Polk. It was Bartow.
Polk County.
And
okay.
so we drove an hour there, 4-hour hearing, an hour back, and I got home and I'm like, I still love it. I love my job. I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning before studying depositions and reading case law, and it's exhausting work, but I love it because I went in. Well,
you like to be in the. Hold on. Not to tell you what you love, but in my opinion, you love to be in the trenches.
I do.
Like you don't like necessarily the book and the preparatory, you know that
the business side of it.
But that gets you to the trenches. You have to be that well informed and up to speed with the case to get into the trenches. But nobody's better in the probably the only person I can say that I've seen in the trenches that are as good as you would be Kevin
Hazlett, of course.
Kevin,
who got on all fours in a closing argument to mimic a hog.
And also, I've never seen Todd in closing arguments, but I've seen him navigate his way around a federal deposition. And that guy is straight money. Oh, my God. He's not afraid to call the judge.
No,
He'd be like, let's call the judge. I know him.
You've had a really good team of lawyers over the course of your life. And you've had some big battles.
And don't forget Greg Herring. Greg Herring's very well respected.
Lawyer.
Norman Cannella Jr. and Sr.
Yes.
Brian Matrone.
Yes.
I mean, Regina in her space. I mean, Regina's regarded as the best family person in town.
Yeah, Babyface was going to step right into the trenches and be my jury consultant in that last trial I had. Stephen called him up the week before trial, and without hesitation, he said, "Of course, yes."
God, he's so good at that.
And I just love him for that. You know, we always have our beef on the radio. He and I don't really. Danny does, but we love him, and he loves us, and he's like, our little slow stepbrother.
I got to tell you, man, there was.
Specials, nothing slow about
Clem
him.
versus MJ versus Clem. There were Jay's close was unbelievable. Greg's direct was great.
His cross of Ober was unbelievable.
And then, but I'll tell you, it started with Brian's Verdire.
100%.
It started with. I mean, he came in with a 3-ring notebook and he says, "I got it, guys. I know we're striving."
And he followed them all, their social media, during the course of the trial, and literally called me one Sunday up and told me that a juror was getting a Grievous, a character from Star Wars tattoo, a sleeve. It must have been a 6 or 7 hour tattoo. So I said, this person hates this trial so much that she's going to go on the weekend and just sit in pain for 6 hours. And he called his wife's tattoo a tramp stamp. Wait till you see what I do in closing argument with her. And so I looked right at her and said, he called it a tramp stamp. Not my words. Those are his words. Remember that?
MJ's.
It was the best.
Yeah.
Brian did an amazing
How about the fact that
job.
Brian knew that one chick in the water caper, remember that?
Dasani Water.
Yeah. So
she worked for Coca-Cola.
Brian finds out that this chick works for Coca-Cola bottlers, and we had Zephyr Hills water because we were just bringing in water. Brian goes, tomorrow I'm bringing a 12-pack of DeSanta water, and we're
I'll give him the credit where it's due. You found out she worked at Coca-Cola, and you're the one who said, get DeSantis water. DeSantis water.
I'm also the one that said
Dasani.
So I remember walking to Jay because I was reading MJ's deposition.
And
I go, Jay, let me ask you a question. I don't know the legal system very well, but I've been in but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express
5 minutes before
last night.
Closing arguments.
And I go, Jay, 5 minutes. I'm over here highlighting all of MJ's depositions. I'm reading MJ's deposition because MJ's getting ready to be on. You're getting ready to cross him.
I used your method. You tell the story. I used your method yesterday in the hearing. The exact same thing.
So I go, Jay, let me ask you a question. In the overall legal world, if you're the plaintiff, you're kind of on offense, aren't you? And he goes, yeah. I go, okay. So you would know the plays and you would know everything that you're alleging because you're on offense, right? And he goes, yes, Bubba. Yeah. What do you got? Hold on. So we are actually the ones on defense, right? Meaning like they're suing us. We're on defense. So if we were going to be a little wishy-washy on not knowing some stats that could potentially make us look bad, we would say, I don't recall or I don't know, right? He goes, yeah, that's what you would do if you didn't quite understand something and you weren't quite sure about something. I go, do you know in my depositions, now I'm the guy on trial here, right? He goes, yes. I did not say I don't recall or I don't know ever. 0 times. Did you know MJ said he didn't recall or didn't know 56 times during his deposition? Now, how can that be? They're on offense. He should know everything they're doing. And Jay goes, oh my God. Is that for, and I
Tell me the numbers again. And I wrote them in the corner of my page and I added them to my closing argument.
I said 56-0. And Jay used it in his closing argument. How did you frame it again, Jay? I forget.
I said,
I'm going to have to go to words.
I said, when Bubba came in here, he looked at you and he tried to be honest. He did his best to answer the questions to you. He was interrupted. He was spoken over. Do you know how many times Mr. Clem said, I don't know, I don't recall, I don't remember? 0. Do you know how many times Mr. Schnitt said, I don't recall, I don't know, I don't remember? 56 times.
And
it was unbelievable.
They were like, "What?" And Jay was like, "How does somebody that's suing another person not know what they're talking about?"
And I didn't even have to say that. That's so painfully obvious to him. So in this hearing yesterday, this lawyer had objected 121 times in one deposition with 17 instructions not to answer, and over 150 times in the other deposition.
And you used those stats that you had them.
Of course I did.
You had them.
Of course I did.
And what did Your Honor say about that?
She was feverishly taking notes, and I'm waiting on a motion for sanctions. We'll see.
Now, what do you mean motions for sanctions? Is that when the other guy gets in trouble a little bit?
I asked for all of my time and effort.
That's rare, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when you go to and I'm keeping everyone's names anonymous, but when you go to a court-ordered deposition that the judge orders, and you instruct your witness not to answer 17 times, and you give 120 objections, and in two depots, almost 250 objections.
That was ordered by Your Honor.
It's I don't think it's way overboard. She's going to watch all 6.5 hours of the depositions.
Poor judge.
And I conducted myself with professionalism and decorum, and I don't think it's going to go well for him, but we'll see.
Good luck to him.
To be determined.
Good luck to him. You just got exposed to the spitting cobra, my friend. Back with Trump. Trump says the only one that's controlling the Strait of Hormuz right now is the United States.
Oh, good news.
Good news. You mean, so the Strait of Hormuz that was not in play in January, everybody could just go to and from, and how the stinky bastards now officially made it theirs, but now we're saying that we took it over from the stinky bastards. But really, the stinky bastards are just trying to kick this can down the road and make Trump look stupid. That's what they want. That's what they are trying to do, to get this thing to the midterms. He loses control of the House and Senate. He gets impeached. He's done. That's okay. J.D. Vance will do a good job. That's what I'm thinking.
That's the only saving grace.
Okay, let's put J.D. in there. I feel just as competent with him. Who's going to be the vice at that point? Does J.D. pick one?
Yes, he would be able to pick one.
Yeah, JD picks one. Who do you think?
It has to be confirmed.
And guess, and I'm telling you right now, do you know who JD Vance puts in there?
The big ears?
Marco Rubio.
Yeah. Yes.
And that might actually be better for us to ride out the last 2 years with those two guys. That may not be a bad thing.
That's the silver lining of impeachment.
Yeah.
Woo!
Be careful what you wish for. You might just give JD Vance a 2-year head start on being the next president.
If he gets 2 years and does well in those 2 years, then he would absolutely win re-election.
So the Democrats need to kind of, as much as you want to shock and awe and impeach Trump, he might be the lesser of two evils by giving J.D. Vance a 2-year head start. Like Dan says, he nails it, right? Mm-hmm. Nails it. Mm-hmm. He's locked in.
Right, and he has those dreamy blue eyes. He's very smart.
I think he wears eye makeup.
He's very well spoken. He's calm even when he's attacking you. And the problem is that the Dems can't bring up a normal guy to run.
You're right.
No.
I mean, the most normal guy that I know that's a Democrat is Brian Matroni, who claims he can hit a ball 320 yards. Are you kidding me? He can't hit a ball 320 yards. But anyway, what I'm saying is,
letting Brian be in your head.
Oh, he's not in my head. I'm just saying.
Johnny, I bet you he can ride a bike and not crash it.
I bet he can't.
Unicorn.
I bet I can outdrive him. I bet I can outdrive him 4 out of 5 times.
I bet you can't right now.
I bet I can.
I bet you can't.
I bet I can with this thing on my wrist. I bet I can.
I bet you can't outbowl him.
I bet you I can outbowl him too.
No.
I can out anything Brian, except I can't out-tooth him.
Dan, why is he so in your head?
He's not in my head.
He lives rent-free in your head.
He does that, dude. I'm in his head, man. He's always making jokes. I make one joke, you jump on me. He's always making jokes.
Dan, let's get something straight. I'm not jumping on you. I'm trying to add fuel to this fire. It's funny.
Zero chance he can hit a ball 320 yards. Zero.
It looks like we have. Will you put up 500?
For which contest?
For you versus him in a driving competition.
Absolutely.
He puts up 500. You put up 500, and we
and it's not Top Golf BS. It's a real driving range.
We go to a real country club and we hit 10 balls.
Yep.
And you got you
best ball.
Best ball.
Best ball.
Best ball. 10
shots.
10 shots. Take us 15 minutes.
Dan's going to have 9 shanks and 1 340-yarder.
Hey, as long as he wins.
I'm going to win.
It's a 1 ball wins.
Can me and Jay be there?
Absolutely, dude. He's going to have to heckle and judge.
Can I tape it?
Absolutely.
Put it up on a
heckle and judge
on a member-only gimmick.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Heckle and judge.
Let me save this audio to present to Brian Thursday.
320 yards. He can't be. I'd be surprised if he went 320 feet.
Dan,
what?
Just settle down, my friend.
He's got no muscle. He's like 5'2".
All right. All right.
Some more. He's going leaning in, Bubba.
Man, don't listen to Thursday's show, Dan. It's not going to be good.
Believe it or not,
Absolutely not.
everything you heard about him has been toned down for easier public acceptance. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
It was awesome, actually.
Jay, how are you not loaded for bear on this fucking trailer company that was parking illegally?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Oh my God! Could you get Jay? They should have probably.
I was at the track in the car, and so Terry and Corey didn't want to say your brother's been involved in an accident. They waited the 6 minutes for my session, and so I back my car in. They opened the doors up, and they're like, Danny was involved in an accident. We don't know much, but Trey's on the way there, and Steve's on the way there. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so I just unstrap everything. I take my helmet off, and
then you call me.
I call you, and then I get a text from Steven with the license plate, and within 30 seconds, Corey, who's a tow yard guy, got me the name of the business. So I immediately know.
Should they have had a permit? Should they have pulled a permit with a traffic cop? Because if you're going to impede, travel on a road that has no trucks, a no truck policy, in order to do a drop off, you have to have a permit with potentially a traffic cop to.
We'll let them come up with what defenses they think they have. I don't think you're allowed to impede the roadway without having multiple cones 100 yards away to advise the people in the bike lane and the traffic.
Tom Bean used to own STS Trucking, and he knows all about trucking codes.
Perfect.
And
because you're right, there is. I don't know about a permit, but I know there's at least cones.
If you're going to impede the roadway, okay. You have
to
have
an actual move-in, like with a real big 18-wheeler.
A registered, above board, properly permit. You have to have it permitted, and then potentially an off-duty cop to force people to go.
They don't do that on Bayshore. So it was like one of those little low boys.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Did you see his helmet?
No, I didn't see his helmet.
Can I show you something real quick? You want to see how lucky we are? Dan's are right here with us. I mean, it's unbelievable.
There it is.
Look at the metal.
Oh my Lord!
That was one of those metal bars. Dude, his neck isn't fucked up. Look at that. Yeah, pause it and then let me pause it if you want. And look at it. Look at that. That was a metal bar. Would have shaved his fucking head
right there.
It may have cracked
the front helmet too.
That's the front. That's not even the back. That's not the other one.
So that would have been over here.
That would have been over here.
You flip it around. No, it'd been right here.
Yeah, it's this. It's your front here, and
that's the back.
Here and here. Here and here. That's the front.
I think you got another one, don't you? Don't you have another one?
Yeah, those are the pictures. So that's just that's not the good. Go this way, right here. This shows both. And that's the one in the front.
Look at the impact of that.
Yeah. That I can't believe his neck doesn't hurt him. And then that's the first one I saw. And then I grabbed it and I look at that. Dan, that's right here.
I wonder if you could buy
that. Would have punctured your head.
Buy that helmet.
I have it.
No.
Oh, see what kind of force it takes.
One, and then send it to a lab to recreate that same indentation and see what they'll have a number.
I don't think they're going to fight us that much, but I mean,
but if they would, I mean, you could fucking
but they were lucky to have Dan alive.
You could get the strength specifications from the manufacturers.
And he should write a letter to that company and thank them.
You should.
That helmet is useless. We've retired that.
Oh no, you can't use that helmet other than for your purposes.
Exactly.
That's
Preservation.
Fucking bad. But I bet you, Jay, in order for them to have done that legally, they needed to have got a permit because the weight of that road. They pour asphalt based on thickness on the weight of like people on 75. That asphalt is 3, 4, 5 inches thicker because it's got semis. Whereas when you go down a residential Bayshore deal and you don't have a truck policy, their asphalt may not be. So you have to pull a permit to even to be there.
I can't even believe that it happened like it did. I feel so lucky that he's okay. Just that it was his hand didn't get. He could have broke his wrist. I mean, dude, my little neck, even with that head, he's like, I looked at his helmet and said, Dan, does your neck hurt? And he goes like this. Oh, no. And I'm like, stop, dude.
So many things that could have gone wrong. I mean,
he's 60.
I know. We need to remind him that.
I told him stop riding those kind of bikes, ride a mountain bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That or get a Peloton.
Exactly. I've been riding a Peloton at my house. That shit's hard, too.
I heard a Peloton can be harder than a regular bike.
It's very difficult. It's got cool little views of places you're imaginarily riding on. What is this for, Dan?
Read that because it's about the podcast he does.
Okay.
You won't be able to read it in 25
Yeah,
seconds.
but you can read it next break.
It's a 3-minute read.
This is my guy who's breaking down the Iranian war, and this is the side that nobody talks about.
Okay.
Here we go.
What is there not to like about the show? Bubba the Love Sponge.
Guys are awesome.
And I love the sponge.
The show's cool. It's real, man.
He makes me laugh my ass off every time I listen.
I'm a full truck of fact man, so it gets me through the day all the time.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Let me thank you to all the great people that are on chat and don't hate and troll the show, trying to wish harm and interruption of business for our brand. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App at the Bubba Army. And also thank you to the trolls that watch and decipher and judge and complain and file various community standard strikes. Thank you for that too, because in order to be able to do all that, you got to watch the entire show. So thank you for watching the entire show. Every viewing hour and minute counts for us. We get paid for that. You're making us money. Full steam ahead on the trollness. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let me, here it is. I mean, what is this? I don't even know how many times it's been. It's the broken record that we keep hearing, that even us as potential conservatives that may have voted for Donald Trump I think the average person's probably getting kind of tired of this. And I think Dan may have said it yesterday. Dan, didn't you say, we literally have to bomb these people into behaving?
Well, it seems like we have fatigue. There's absolutely fatigue, and it's the same story. They keep saying they're close to a deal, and then there's no deal, and so.
And then they say, then they say, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. They say, like, when we say we got the Strait of Hormuz handled, and then they say within an hour, no, you don't. No, you don't. We got it. And we're never letting go of it. So it goes like completely against what our president is kind of telling us. And this isn't, Eric Heary, right. $40 on the PayPal. Thank you.
But Bubba, his current strategy goes against that thing you made me read, because according to that thing, we really want regime change, and this isn't the change we're looking for. We need to go one step further. So according to what you had me read,
Pete,
you would think that we would just keep bombing the top tier people until we get an administration or a leadership group that wants to listen.
That's what they might want you to think. I think my guy comes from what really needs to be done. Meaning, like, I don't know that Trump can keep hard selling regime change and get them to the table. Like, that's a deal breaker. But at the end of the day, we're probably going to sweep in like Venezuela and potentially get that if Pete's long-term plan as to why we started this initiative is valid in any way, shape, or form. That's what we are positioning for. That's what we need to happen, right? I mean, according to Pete's notes.
Yes.
The only one that has control of the Strait of Hormuz right now is the United States Navy. We have a blockade that's been infallible. It's a steel wall. And we let people in that we want to let in, and those people come in, and they've been coming in and they're going out. So it's actually open now. We do not let them go into Iran. They're not admitted into.
And see, here's the deal. I'd like to know, because we don't live there, and we can't, like, we could testify as to what's happening in Clearwater or Johns Pass or Port Tampa, because we can see it, and American media could potentially, could report on it. But I don't know that we know what's really happening in the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know how you cover it as CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN, because you can't send anybody necessarily over there because it's so volatile. So I don't know what's really going on.
They can track all the ships. That they actually do know a definitive number of ships that are going through the strait, what path they're taking. And there was a period of time where there was 0 boats going through. And then there was that time where after they did it, Trump's like, we've been having boats go through for a month and you guys didn't even know it. And so I think right now they're still having a limited amount of cargo ships going through the strait, through the path that's protected by the United States. I think that's what's quelling the spike in oil prices. But
oil prices, by the way, Jay, that you speak of today, up a lot.
Right.
Up $1 to 82. Let's not forget
Which
they were
is
just down to
the average of the Biden administration was in the 80s.
But July 6th of this year, $68.
Oh,
I'm sorry, $68.50, which was July 6th. So today being, by the way, Hulk Hogan's heavenly birthday at August 11th would have been his 72nd birthday. Happy birthday, Hogan.
They're wrong. It's 73rd.
Is it 73rd?
Yeah, it is.
She's, you know what? I think we have a mentally retarded Alexa.
We do.
AI and Alexa get things wrong all the time.
I know.
The strait to go to Iran, but it's open for others. Now, a little bit complex because they will, on occasion, drop a mine, and we find the mines. We've mine swept the entire strait, as you probably maybe heard, maybe you didn't hear, but
I gotta think, man, they're not liking this type of talk because they're saying they're in charge and they're never gonna not be in charge, and we're saying they're not in charge. We got it, and we're the one policing it. So I would think that probably militarily wise, we're correct, meaning like we have the ability to create a blockade and escort people through there. But, they fundamentally are, not agreeing. And so why would, if you're trying to negotiate this peace, you're on both ends of the spectrum, right? I mean, this is kind of non-negotiation. If we're saying we got it, we got the blockade, we determine who goes through, and they're like, that's not the way it's going. Well, you can't negotiate that, right? I mean, they fundamentally are on both sides of the fence. I don't know how you come to common ground there.
There isn't common ground. One's delusional and one's fact. I mean, Iran is not sending any boats in and out of Iran right now. That is fact. That's not happening.
We control the strait 100%. Now, can they make trouble? Yeah, they can make trouble. But they're broke. They have no money. Iran is broke, totally broke. And they're not paying their soldiers. They have inflation of 300% as of last night.
I mean, we got them down. We just got to figure out how we can politically correct finish them off.
The political coup de grace.
Yeah. We're bitching about 3.5% inflation. He just said they have 300% inflation.
Yeah.
And I heard 309%. So we'll see what happens.
Hold on, I got video killed the radio star playing on my other
Oh yeah.
Look who's on stage.
Hey,
look at that guy.
Oh.
Look at that. That's my guy right there. That's my guy. That's I was just looking at him like, that's my guy. You did a great job in that, Jay. You really did. All right, back to Trump.
But they've been bad for it. They say 47. It's actually 50 now. 47. They've been saying it for 3 years. But for 50 years, they've been the bully of the Middle East. What they've done is terrible. They've killed hundreds of thousands of people.
So what are we going to do about it? Like, that's an open question to anybody who wants to answer. What in the hell are we? We've established that they've been a bunch of dicks for 50 years. We've established that they don't want a negotiation. They've played all types of cute games when it comes to Strait of Hormuz, uranium enrichment, long range ballistic missiles. Like, they've played cute games with all of that. What's the end result? You know, let me. What'd you send me
Well,
here?
then I sent you this, the Iranian foreign minister.
Yeah. So now let me. This is actually yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
At night, 7:23 last night, well after Trump has already said what he said. Tehran says that the Strait of Hormuz won't be safe until the U.S. ends the blockade of Iranian ports. As long as the U.S. naval blockade remains in place. Now, let me, who's this character?
That's the
foreign minister.
Foreign minister of Iran.
So, like, does he have standing to,
he's kind of doing a lot of the negotiation.
Okay. Under UN General Assembly Resolution 3314. A naval blockade of this kind amounts to an act of aggression as long as the other U.S. violations continue, which I don't know what, I guess probably a long list of them. The necessary conditions. Seems like a lot of words for not so many words. Like he's saying a lot, but it just says, under normal conditions, like you have to say like 10 words to get 3 Americans. Will not be in place for us to say that the Strait of Hormuz has become a safe waterway. So what's he saying there?
That until U.S. lifts their blockade, that the strait is closed.
Completely opposite of what kind of Trump said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
I'm kind of surprised, you would think that Trump's instinct would be, I like negotiating. The people I'm negotiating with are making me look foolish. They continue to put themselves on the air. I mean, didn't we take the first couple rounds of leadership out pretty quickly?
Yeah.
I would have thought, if you just look at what his instincts have habitually been, I'm just surprised that there haven't been more directed strikes toward the leadership. If he doesn't want to do the mass bombing, then it just kind of surprises me. I don't know what his military advisors are telling him to do, but it's just it looks foolish to just continue to do the same thing. And if you are the art of the negotiation, which I do believe he's fantastic at, you need someone. It's like trying to volley playing tennis with someone that can't play tennis. There's no volley. And so if you're trying to negotiate with someone that never negotiates and can never negotiate and be trustworthy, then it just surprises me that his guts not to try to find somebody else within the country that's willing to negotiate. Now, the counter to that is that they want to try to let these economic sanctions, which are really starting to have an impact on the population and the people that are fighting the war, to let those economic sanctions take effect, because that may create the change in the leadership and the administration in Iran that you want. It's a real difficult thing to say. I don't know which one's the right one, but those are kind of the situations we're in right now. We can't pull out.
None of which is healthy, and it doesn't look favorable for a negotiation that either are going to live with. It looks like we're in a kind of a quagmire, kind of a stagnant.
Yeah, what you should just say is, we're not going to negotiate anymore with them right now. We're keeping the Strait blockade open, and this is where we are right now. Our economic sanctions will take effect within the next X amount of time, and this isn't going to be a long-ended up war. We're not going to send troops in. We're not going to continue bombing them. We've destroyed their military. We're going to control the Straits of Hormuz.
And we're pulling out, except for to be the police of the Hormuz. We're out.
This economic sanctions are going to take effect, and eventually there'll be a change, and there'll be somebody that wants to negotiate in goodwill with us.
Right, and let the people make the change so that they can make their life better, because we can boa constrict them right down to zero if we want, while not having to do it necessarily militarily, other than policing the street.
Jay, couldn't we arm all their civilians? Or not all of them, but a lot of them?
We've done it before.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
The Iran-Contra
the
deal,
answer is yes, you could.
Rap and Ronnie Reagan came in.
Thing to do?
Remember Rap and Ronnie Reagan came in, Lummy, and threw Oliver North, gave all the Contras guns and stuff.
My favorite surf break in the world is 8 kilometers south of the Nicaraguan border, named after Ollie North, Ollie's Point. Because when they were doing the Iran Contra affair,
and he took the fall for Reagan too.
Yeah, he went. I cannot recall.
He was like MJ.
He was, but he
was
did it
MJ before MJ.
Way. He did it in a stud way.
When we return, man, this has been something. Dan, when did you and your brothers come up with? It was literally very early on our relationship when you guys started spewing the two and talking deal. And you guys have been
25 years. About. I mean, since the beginning of the internet, we had that 2 and talking sign up.
My kid's 19, and we were at the beginning end of it, so it's been well over 20 years.
Yeah, and I love how for so many years people called me a quack because I'm just a stupid plastic surgeon trying to get into the science of vaccines.
Oh, did you intercept
COVID,
some Brian texts? Oh my God!
Yes.
Sorry, I'm supposed to see those, Danny.
But it's amazing, the things I said 5 years ago about
12,
COVID.
True.
Were 100% right. 100. I said 0 wrong.
No, you're right.
And the stuff I said about vaccines is all right.
Well,
and my biggest target on the vaccines is what he's targeting now: Hep B.
Anyway,
that's the sinner.
Yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order Monday laying out new recommendations for childhood vaccinations. Now, you don't have to necessarily agree with Dan's stance on COVID, although it's now looking like it was 100% right. But that's fine. Let's take the COVID situation out of the equation. For well over 20 years, but way before COVID, Dan and his brother Steve and Jay, they actually at one time had 2andtalking.com.
Yep.
And they really felt adamant. And at that time, it was mercury-based thimerosal preservatives that were causing the issue. And Dan and Steve and Jay kind of went on a big campaign and really were the only persons that were really shouting this very loudly to new parents that you don't need to have your kids loaded up with vaccinations. And in fact, the most recent child that's been born into our little family would have been Walker. And Ashley and Lummy both used the Diaco's recommendations on vaccinations.
Yes.
And got a ton of blowback and resistance at the hospital. When Walker was born, they wanted to load him up with all the vax. And Ashley and Lummy said, nope. And Dan gave them a list of what they needed to get and the increments that they needed to get them. And when we come back, it looks like you guys were 20 years ahead of the whole situation, as now we got the president that is that signed into law the new recommendations for childhood vaccinations. And, Dan, you guys are to be commended because you were the only ones, nobody else, and they called you a quack and that you're not a pediatrician, you're a stupid plastic surgeon. If we're talking about boobs, great, but don't tell me how to vax my kid.
That sounded like the doctor at the hospital Walker was born at when
tell him if he needs to do a nose job, great, but to keep his nose out of the vaccination game.
They shamed my wife out of the pediatrician's office in sobbing tears, telling her she was a horrible mother for not vaccinating my son, who was born with a kidney disease and had half his kidney removed at 6 months old. And they were telling her, you must do these things. And we knew better. And so she went out in the car and she sobbed and she called me and we found a new doctor. And you remember, it's Dr. Berger, David Berger in Tampa Bay. He's a holistic pediatrician, MD. He's a scientist that believes in, we're not anti-vax. It's called responsible vaccination.
2 and talking.
Responsible vaccination.
We'll get to that next.
Automatic microphone shut off. Engage.
Why? What'd they do now?
Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
I thought the fat one didn't really talk that much.
Unless your wife, exactly.
And HPV.
Exactly. Remember, he's like, unless your wife is doing heroin or needles and she's tested negative, your kid's not going to get it.
And then he said, unless your kid's going to have anal sex.
Anal sex or IV drug use.
Tattoo at 3.
Right. Let's not worry about this.
Right. And I said never stack them, never when they're sick.
No more than 2 at a time.
Check titles. No more one at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time.
You guys have a great day.
Bye, Danny. So let me. Make sure Gary does a short on this.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. So I got to do the Trump deal.
Yep.
And then I'll go right into this.
Okay, perfect. Let them know. Morning, Carly. Morning, Liz.
What's up, Liz?
Liz, group of us. What's up? What's up, Dirt Merchant? Yeah, hit that thumbs up. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Tips. What's up, Jeff Coy? Jake.
Hey, Lemmy.
Hey, Bubba. Midget chicken. Alina Small? No, I'll look her up. Alright, look into that group of lips.
Hey, Lemmy, can you give me the the listening hours on
Yeah,
that?
I was gonna say I get over your talk. Yeah,
If you can.
Yep, I'll pull it up.
Just give me a number.
Dirt Merchant, $2 Willie. Thank you, buddy. Good morning, rain delay. So, Adam, my God.
Standing by.
Just waiting for it to load. Do you want me to say it out loud when I get it?
Yeah.
Alright.
We were at 2,600 yesterday. Or that was was that a number and then you had, but
Well, that's the one that they're showing. There's like two different numbers. 27.
27?
Yep. So after this next one, we should definitely be past it.
It's 4,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, it might take 2 weeks.
Speed, power, performance, and top-notch results on the turf and on the track. Skag Power Equipment is mowing down the competition. Built by hard-working Americans in state-of-the-art facilities, Skag machines are made to last. Don't get left behind. Visit your local Skag dealer to discover the Skag difference for yourself. Skag, simply the best.
Listener supported at the Bubba Army on Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App.
The Love Sponge.
Now, back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
You know, we just had a Skag commercial that we ran, and I've been, I got kind of down a couple landscaping rabbit holes on YouTube, different landscapers, and I swear to God, I follow like 3 of them. And the reason why I follow them, one is because they're badass landscapers, and I like, you know, watching guys do badass landscaping. They're pretty proficient with how they can use their weed whacker for an edger, and all 3, the one thing they have in common, swear to God, not even trying to make this up, is they all have Skags. And so, like, you can almost tell the real commercial guys compared to the commercial guys that still have residential units like an X-Mart or a Bad Boy or a Toro, something of that residential caliber, and they don't have a Skag. Like, Skags are like the Ferraris, or the most well-built, handcrafted, made in America, Mayville, Wisconsin, under the leadership of my buddy Randy and his assistant, the glue, Maria. They're just the quality in Skag, from the thickness of their mowing deck to just, I was looking at this one YouTube channel that rated zero turn and stand behind mowers, and Skag was like number 1 by a large margin. It had a little bit to do, and I don't know quite what I'm talking about here, other than the hydrostatic drive that they use. Like most mowers use like a lesser quality hydrostatic drive that drives the wheels and the blades, whereas Skag uses like the best one that can go like up to 3,000 or 4,000 hours before it even, like, you can buy here's the one good thing about Skag, and I kept seeing this too, is that the resale value of Skags are just through the roof because their hydrostatic drives and some of the really beefy commercial parts that they use are just far superior than the junk transmissions and others that like X-Mark and Toro and all those jokers use. Skag uses the more beefier, heavier dutier hydrostatic lines and transmissions and things like that. And so if you're a landscaper, buy a Skag, because when you sell that Skag, the one guy was saying, like, it's not unheard of for a Skag to go 5 or 6,000 hours before it needs any type of major overhaul.
Oh, wow.
Whereas most mowers go like 1,500 miles, and you got to start replacing this and the deck and all that kind of deal. Not with Skag, man. I got 249 hours on mine, and it's like brand new.
Yeah, you keep good care of yours.
I take better care of my Skag than I do my fiance. Sorry, Erica. I love my Skag. I love her too.
I laugh because it's not true.
But anyway, man, Randy and Maria and all the people, like from Eric at Wesley Chapel, Les of Wesley Chapel, and Mike's Lawnmower in Ocala, and any other, Eel River up there in Indiana, where my buddy Larry Plumber buys all of his Skag stuff. Just the great distributors of Skag. It's just, I know you carry other brands and stuff like that, but you know damn well, what brand, one, makes the best equipment, and then what brand stands behind its product, and the PR that Randy and Maria, they'll bring all their Skag dealers, because Randy's big time into NHRA. I think he's got like 4 teams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got like 4, maybe even 5. I know he has Dave Richards. I know he has Justin Ashley. I know he has Wilkerson. I think he does something with the Erica Anders girl and Pro Stocks. And let me, I think that Skag, and I haven't really researched it, but they have a division of Skag called Bluebird Turf. Bluebird Turf. I think it's a division within Skag that also makes mowers too. I don't know what the difference between Skag and a Bluebird Turf is. There might be none, but Dave Richards drives the Bluebird Turf funny car, whereas the other ones drive the Skag Turf Tiger. So, Lummy, you've never been on my Skag, have you?
No, I will probably never get on it either.
I'm very stingy with my Skag.
I do not want to do anything.
One time Erica wanted to move it. It was outside and she just wanted to move it. I'm like, nope. Jay, I'm very Skag aggressive, just like Jay, and don't get mad at me, but we travel in some of the same circles, like Terry from Preferred Automotive, so I get like Jay car type updates, and if there's one thing that Jay nobody's driving his cars. Jay's very car aggressive.
Dan drives all of them, but I don't let just random
people.
Pity can drive
Dan doesn't drive them, does he?
He does 100% of it.
How about
Dan drives
Kendall?
everything. She doesn't want to. I've offered every one of them to her, and she's like,
I don't want your
don't really care.
Stupid race cars. I got my Raptor and my Land Rover. I don't need anything else there, buddy.
She's happy to
just
have
go out
the
there,
truck.
take your Ferrari, and rip it around the enclave all you want.
Yep.
I'm going shopping, buddy. No, I'm going to go out to Polk County and do some farming. That's what I'm going to do.
Gardening.
So anyway, Lummy man, I'm very, very Skag aggressive, meaning I'm very Skag selfish. I just don't want people touching my Skag. I'd let Larry Plummer run it, and I'd let maybe that's about it.
Yeah, Pity's driven my Skag stuff.
Yeah, your Ferrari race cars is like my equivalent to my Skag Jackal and my Windstorm and my Zero Turn and my Cedar.
Yep.
So anyway, Lummy, anybody that's interested in any Skag stuff, go to skag.com. And again, maybe check out that Bluebird Turf. I need to get a little bit more up to speed on the Bluebird Turf.
Yeah, it looks like it's more for like the commercial leasing options or rentals.
Oh, really?
But it's just as good as a Skag.
I think it's the same thing. They just painted a different color.
Pretty much. But
it might be maybe the leasing or it might be the lease back program that they have within the Skag deal. So they do it Bluebird Turf. I think Randy. I think Metalcraft of Mayville, Wisconsin, which is the parent company of Skag and Blue. I think they own a company called Versatran, and that builds like flat, like roll off flatbed wreckers. It's called Versatran. Will you look that up? I think Randy owns that too.
It is, yeah, a division of Metalcraft.
Yeah, look at me. And it builds it builds like the kind of roll-offs that like Steps and Bobby.
It looks like the one that Dr. Dan hit.
Yeah, well, yeah, they build that sort of thing. So I know of Versatran. I know of Skag, Bluebird Turf, and Lummy. I think they own a couple automation companies. Like they make parts for the U.S. military, and I think they have like a complete automated facility.
Wow.
We don't have to deal with a bunch of people calling in because they got too drunk from the Packers loss the night before. Listen, people in Wisconsin, like the Packers will control their lives. So like if the Packers play Sunday night football and they lose, there's a lot of people that call in sick Monday for being too drunk. Or like people adjust their work schedule around the Packers winning or losing. I used to do it. Remember, Lummy? I would not. If the Packers lost, I wouldn't even come to work the next day if they played Monday Night Football. And they let me do it. No wonder I got fired.
Immediately, my administration is recognizing gold standard childhood vaccine recommendations for only 11 core vaccinations against the most serious and dangerous diseases, along with the MMR, which hopefully will be split up. You have the MMR. We want it in 3 separate vaccinations.
Man, Jay, this almost like completely mirrors what your family has been saying for 20 plus years.
True.
And at one time, you guys actually even maintained a website called Two and Talking.
Yep.
And you guys and Dan's medical expertise and what have you and your legal arenas and the things that you've seen over the years, and Stephen, you guys came up with Two and Talking, and that was to get to stagger your kids' vaccinations.
Right.
And they don't need to even really start the process until they're 2 or talking.
So that you can ask them how they're feeling. And you can gauge what's happening.
Right. And never more than one a day.
One at a time.
Never when the kid has a cold or doesn't feel so good.
That's right.
Never Hep B. Dan used to say, unless your kid's getting
at birth, because that's when they try to give it. They try to give it within 3 hours of birth.
Yeah.
They try to give your kid that's less than 6 hours old a Hep B and an HPV shot, One is warts that you can only get through sexual transmission, and the other one's hepatitis B, which you only get through 3 ways: getting a tattoo from a dirty needle, sharing needles, or anal sex. So Dan used to say when we would have a medical segment, people would call up and say, hey, man, getting ready to have a kid next week, but we want to get ahead of this curve. What's your vaccination deal? I hear you guys say, and Dan would say, go to 2andtalking.com. And the guy's like, yeah, well, we just had our kid, and they're trying to give him a Hep B. And Dan would say, listen, unless your kid's having anal sex, getting a tattoo, or sharing needles, you don't need the Hep B until maybe he's like 12 or 13 or something. And he doesn't need the HPV anytime soon either. And they called Dan and his brothers quacks. What a bunch of quacks. Well, now the president has signed into law exactly what they've been spreading for a long time. I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And who started that? Was it Dan that started it?
Stephen and Gary Kompothrakis got very involved in autism.
Which is 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Dr. Gary
Kopolopoulos, I call him.
Kopolopoulos. So
right.
Stephen and Dr. Gary, believe it or not, 25 years ago, health insurance didn't cover autism. There was exclusions for pre-existing. There was no autism-like spectrum. And as much as people think we're MAGA, we supported Charlie Crist and we supported Alex Sink. And so Charlie Crist was the governor at the time, and Stephen and Dr. Gary lobbied to get health insurance to cover autism. And they were successful. And Florida was one of the first states in the nation that did that. Through that process, Stephen became educated through Gary's real-life experience in having markedly autistic children who had been giving multiple vaccinations on the same day when they were sick. And it was, oh, well, we can catch them up on vaccines while they're here. And so it was a traumatic issue in his life. He was very, very opinionated about it. He's a doctor, by the way, a chiropractor and a scientist, and he can analyze articles and literature
and
for himself.
And he's fluent, and he can get word out.
And anyone who has a child knows that the person who knows the child the best is the mother. And when you have a mother, and there's scores of stories of mothers talking about their children who could track and could follow and could listen, and you'd snap and they look at their hand and they say the moment the shot was given, it was like a light went out and the children's behavior changed. And so it was anecdotal evidence at the time, and it was taboo, but we've never been anti. It's always been safe, one at a time. And so when he says MMR, that's mumps, measles, and rubella, and he's saying, let's split those up
into 3 different shots.
Let's split those up, and let's give it a more reasonable schedule for a child, because he talks about the innocence of the child, to protect the child.
Here we go.
Given at separate times.
See, occasionally he'll do something good.
Together, there could be a possibility they're quite lethal. And separately, it looks like they are not at all lethal, but just very effective. So the MMR, we want to have separate visits, separate times.
Which is almost to the letter of what you guys have been saying for 20 plus years.
Vaccine being broken into 3 separate single doses, and vaccines being administered in separate visits. For example, at 1 year, you should have 5 separate visits for vaccines rather than getting them all in the same day.
There it is.
There it is. That's been one of your guys'. That's been one of your guys' number one talking points.
There's
Separate.
never been a study. That's the thing. Is every time it's like, this has been studied and it's been ruled out. Show me one study that shows the effects of multiple vaccinations being given to the same child at the same day. There are none. And that's what he's saying. Common sense is what he's saying.
Yep.
I saw this early on, and I've seen proof of it, where they have a vaccination thing, looks like the size of a bottle of soda, poured into a little child's body. And bad things happen in too many cases, because this is an explosion. This is an epidemic. So at year 1,
we're doing it to ourselves.
You should have 5 separate visits for vaccines rather than giving them all in the same day.
Right.
Very importantly,
By the way, age 1, not day 1. There's a big distinction there, because day 1 they want to start loading them up. Lummy will tell you he's the most recently to have a child. They want to load him up.
Yeah.
Lummy and Ashley got into a verbal altercation at hours after she'd just popped out Walker. Like, poor thing wants to battle it out with the doctors, and they're like, no.
I hovered over Trey and Sage and told everyone I'm a lawyer. Do not touch that child with a vaccination. I made sure over and over and over, and I can't imagine not being a lawyer and having to deal with the turmoil of the hospital. It must have been horrible, Lummy.
Oh, it was, especially during COVID time. They made you feel really stupid at that point.
Were they trying to also give her like a COVID shot and Walker a COVID shot like as an infant?
No, it was just before the COVID shot came out. So, but it was he's got to be covered on everything else.
Vaccinations for hepatitis B, COVID-19, and influenza, among others, are no longer recommended for all children. In addition, this executive order directs the Attorney General to advance legal challenges against states that violate children's rights to religious or medical vaccination exemptions for the exemptions. Other countries with high vaccination rates without mandates for school. Now, what we do is other countries have very high vaccination rates, and they have not had, and they don't have, it's without mandates for school. Parents can still choose to give their children all of the vaccinations if they wish. It's up to the parents. We're making recommendations that are strong, but it's up to the parents if they wish, and they will be covered by insurance. However, this updated recommendation finally aligns the United States with other advanced and developed nations around the world. More importantly, it aligns us with common sense and knowledge.
You know, that's an important distinction, because what he just said there is any parent that wants to continue with the current schedule may do so at their discretion, and it will be covered by insurance.
Right.
So when we hear in the next 48 hours how he's taking away vaccines from people and he's taking away parents' choice, not true.
When we return, Howard Stern's Sirius XM channel in grave danger of being dropped amidst their layoffs in the major shakeup. They're saying where they're going to probably pull 101 and just listen. It makes sense. You know, back when you had a little more programming, you could absolutely have 101, and 101 represented. You know, that's where I did my show. Scotty Farrell did his. And then they would do some ancillary shows on 101, including playing some old Stern, best ofs, and then they would replay. They had a whole schedule. 101 was a whole channel within itself that was Howard, but yet different than Howard. That's where I lived. That's where Scotty lived. That's where Riley? Remember
Riley,
the guy?
right, the Jackie the Joke Hunt.
Yeah, so I think Jay Thomas did a show on there. There was a lot of good programming on both. 100 was all Howard all the time, and then 101 was Howard's handpicked talent, and then more Howard when we weren't on. Well, I think that ship has sailed, and I have an opinion about it. And again, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I wish that I hadn't been that I wasn't currently blackballed and what's that called? Persona non grata.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I wasn't the bad guy and that I wasn't perceived as a problem. And maybe I did all this to myself. Maybe I did. But I think in this particular instance, I didn't.
Have you remedied yourself, though, now? Have you proven yourself as capable of handling it? Of course you have.
Yeah. And, and here's the thing. Howard and I are really good friends. He always sends me a birthday card. He always sends me a Christmas card. He always, asks about Tyler. We don't have a phone relationship. We have an email relationship, but I can get a hold of him. He can get a hold of me. We always, return, or send pleasantries, and I think about him and we correspond somewhat. I really think that he could go to bat for me. I really think he could.
As he's stepping out?
Yeah, as he's stepping out. There's not been any other personality that has remained in his good graces, that has never talked an ill word about him, in the midst of him changing a little bit and kind of redoing doing a different program and being more of an interview-based, interviewing very, very, very A-list celebrities type show. and the women and the games and some of the tomfoolery that we both used to do, we don't do anymore. But, I think, Howard, there's only one personality that's ever been under your umbrella that once they were let go, continue to support you and never spoke an ill word. And that's where I will be for the rest of my, I don't have anything bad to say about you. In fact, I am appreciative in the stage that you gave me for 5 years, because I wouldn't be where I am today without having developed the global thumbprint that you allowed me to do. That being said, as you are now doing one show a week post Labor Day, and I think, 100 shows a year, and you're wrapping it up, I think everybody would agree. And I think, Howard, this is your last deal. I don't think after your 3-year contract is up that you'll stay with SiriusXM, but I think SiriusXM wants to stay in business still. But I don't think that they have anybody that has been anointed by you, handpicked by you, and whose current audience and former, meaning those that have left you, could digest as a replacement to you. Nobody can replace you.
Right.
Nobody will ever be able to emulate what you have done in this industry. You're the greatest of all time, period. Into conversation, there's not a close second. But if SiriusXM wants to retain that P1 that has since left you because you've gotten older and you've gracefully changed your show into what you want it to be, and that has upset some people that have left, the hardcore longshoremen and the truckers and things like that used to be your P1s might not be P1s anymore. And, the people that have stuck around, I think there's only one personality that you've ever groomed or hired or given an opportunity to that could potentially step in and your audience be familiar with them and know that they're a protege of you and they're appreciative of you and will continue to, honor you while they do a show, meaning me. I do a show that I think your people would like. I'm more like you than anybody else currently in content, whether it be terrestrial radio or digital streaming content. And not only am I more like you, but I was crafted and taught and somewhat learned the trade from you. You were my teacher. You were my mentor. You handpicked me and my guys, and I'll be forever grateful. Now, I'm not saying do the right thing, but would you consider putting a word in for me post you leaving to carry on the brand, if you will? Because I don't think current Sirius management likes me at all. They love you, as they should. You've made them a lot of money. You've made a lot of money. But I think that I can move the needle. I think I can retain what you got, get back some of what you lost, while maintaining the type of content you do. I mean, if you just Google or Chat GPT the greatest shock jocks in radio history, you're number 1. I'm number 4.
There you go.
I should be too. Mm-hmm. But I'm number 4.
Who's 2 and 3?
I think Opie and Anthony and Rush Limbaugh.
Okay, so I mean that's fine.
But yeah, I'll take 4.
I mean, top 5.
I'm going to get into this, but it's not a plea to Howard, but like the Scott Greensteins and the Jared Fox and the people, the Ross Zapins. Like, you guys are signing these $100 million podcasting contracts with the Conan O'Briens and the Call Her Daddies and the Jason Bateman, the Jason Batemans, and you guys are signing $100 million.
Really?
Yeah, they're signing $100 million contracts to Kevin Hart and to these guys. And at the end of the day, let's not forget the person that put Sirius, not XM, because before the Sirius and XM merger, it was just Sirius and XM. Sirius had Howard and Bubba. XM had Opie and Anthony. Then they merged and had us all. But before that, before the merger, the guy that you were all in, you put all your chips in, was Howard Stern. And you've rode that horse to where you are today at 33, 34, 35 million subscribers, and a lot of it is attributed to Howard. Why wouldn't you? You can't reinvent the wheel with podcasting. Podcasting's not the same as live, high on a high wire, spontaneous, male skewing, terrestrial sounding content. Nothing emulates that. Podcasting doesn't.
No.
Only a guy that comes from the hopper of Howard Stern can emulate that. Me. Why can't you give me a chance? Why? What do you have to lose? I'm not going to be $100 million. Give me one. Give me $1 million. That's all you paid me back in the day was $1 million. Pay me what you used to pay me. And let me come in and honor Howard post his retirement and put on a show that is similar to what he used to do.
Does Sirius XM give their talent points ever?
No.
Okay.
No.
Not even like on their channel?
No.
Okay.
We'll get in. I got into a lot of it now.
Yeah.
We'll close it out next.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com.
Right now.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
Good morning, everybody. HS Bubba fan, Bubba Nation, Black Guy in Cali, Jonesy 869, M Holland 1. How's everybody doing? Dirt Merchant, good morning. What up, Attack of the Dog? Kenny effing Powers. What's up, Jeff Coy Kendall? Duggish Ruggish Nerd, I see you over there. Jonesy, what up? Chub it up, Spice, good morning. What up, Jay Bowler? Pull of your luck. Organic Gene, how's everybody doing? Ned's is Herbs. What up?
I know exactly where we are, Mach. We're at 6.
What up,
I'll hit
Duggish
7
Ruggish
at
Nerd?
45. And that'll get us out at 8.
Robbie Rodman, how's everybody doing?
I know exactly where we're at. I got 15 minutes.
Thanks for all your
I'll hit 7 at
loyalty to the
45.
show. Great to see
That'll
everybody.
put us
What
at
up, Frank?
52.
How you doing, buddy? Berto.
And that gives me 5 minutes.
3 Pound Peanut. What up? Reggie Dunbar.
Macho, you need
Andrew
to give me
Tate
more
grew
credit.
up in
I know exactly where we're
Indiana.
at.
Is that true? I never heard that. I thought it was the Chicago area. What up, White Iced Tea? It is amazing. Steven and Gary are close friends. I work with this kid a lot.
Yeah, I think Steven is closest with Gary.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been his right-hand man in lawyering stuff for years.
Right. No, I know. But they're like boys.
For sure. What up, Fire Marshal Bizil? Good morning to Brandon Foster. Yeah, for sure. They're super close. What's up, Michael Ramoser? Huh. Andrew Tate went to elementary and middle school in Goshen, Indiana, close to Warsaw. Goshen? Yeah, of course
12
I say it
miles.
like an Italian.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. What up, Biggie? Barbara DeRush, good morning. What's up, Heather Spin Instructor? Good morning again, Black Guy in Cali. Josie, because they have blanket immunity, unfortunately. All good here. Henny Jacks. How you doing? That's a new one. I haven't seen you before. Good morning again. What's Cali like today? Morning, Mason Palmer 6088. How are you? I know, Permagram, if you looked, the Chopu contest has been on, and the WSL, and Kelly Slater just took out Gabriel Medina in the most amazing heat yesterday. He got almost got a 19. I think it was 18-7 for the heat. What's up, Daltart?
Well, I don't know if you wanted or just to watch that at a different time, but I sent you. It looks like a couple weeks ago, she was on the CEO, Witz, Jennifer Witz.
Yeah.
She was on just talking kind of the future of series.
I don't know how the
Where's it at?
I messaged
states
it
may
to
be
you.
able to
It was
do
on
it like they
CNBC.
did tobacco litigation, but I don't think they can. I have to look into it more, but I don't think so. What's up, Bad Jake? Jeff Coy Kendall, 2886. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll see what this chick has to say.
All right.
Exactly, blanket immunity. You know, Richard Weldon, I get it, but it's part of it's a current event show as well. Got to talk about some of it. Can't ignore it. I wish it wasn't going on. What up, Snizuki Slayer?
Central Florida and all across the great state of Florida. Listen up. When your business or home needs serious wiring done right, there's only one crew I trust, GPZ Cabling. They're Florida's premier low-voltage contractor, handling data cabling, fiber optics, Wi-Fi access points, audio and video systems, access control, and security cameras that actually work when you need them. From Orlando to Tampa, Jacksonville to the Keys, GPZ's got the whole state covered. And make sure you tell them Bubba sent you. You're going to get 20% off your install. Call GPZ Cabling today at 813-524-6794 or visit gpzcabling.com. GPZ Cabling, Florida's premier low-voltage contractor. Don't get wired up wrong, get wired up right. GPZ Cabling.
It's a sign. The end times are here. Ultra-powerful hurricanes, tsunamis, massive earthquakes, and Bubba, the Love Sponge.
Sorry.
Jay and for Dan to the top of the hour. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. This is the story that I was referring to earlier. Howard Stern's SiriusXM archive is reportedly on the chopping block. The radio icon Howard 101, Channel 101, is in grave danger of being dropped entirely, according to the source. It makes sense. Just concentrate on 100. You know, I mean, like they're trying to report this as a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Like it's smart, it's nimble, it's strategic, it's cost effective. You know, there's only one Howard. He only has one personality now, not a bunch. So he only needs one channel. Stern 72 currently runs the dedicated SiriusXM channel's Howard 100 home to his live shows and new content, and Howard 101, which airs his old shows and clips spanning his 20-year history. I think they still run a lot of our stuff on there. I don't think, Lummy, they have the right to run our standalone shows, but anytime that we were on Howard's show, I think they run that a lot.
Yes.
But they can't run any of my standalone shows when I was on Sirius XM because, unlike Howard, he owns his own content now, but when we were negotiating with Sirius XM at 05, we're like, no, what we produce on your airwaves, we own. We will license it back to you for the term of the deal. But after we leave, you can't play nothing. We own it all. And Howard couldn't believe he had to pay like $3 or $4 million to CBS to get his archives. Whew. And Tom Bean had cut that deal in '94 for me. A lot of the staff were laid off in the first round that worked for his 101 channel. A source said of the cuts made by the show in February. Per the report, those staffers thought since it was a channel focused on Howard's legacy with historical clips and interview, it would be the home of archives moving forward. No, Howard 100 can now run the live show when he does one and play the historical clips when he's not there, along with the wrap-up show and a couple other things. According to the outlet, these employees had assumed that even if Stern eventually retired, the archivable channel and their jobs would live on. No, it's not the way it works, my friend. As he starts paring down his staff because he doesn't need as many, he also doesn't need an additional channel. He only needs one. So anyway, Lummy, it goes on to say, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then now this is the news. Well, not the new. She's been around for quite a while. She was not there when I was there. I think her name is Jennifer. Is it Jennifer Waltz?
Witz.
Jennifer Witz. She's the CEO of Sirius XM. Maybe she'll lead some insight as to what their strategic post-Howard planning needs to be. They certainly need to look into that. They certainly need to be planning for that, or maybe they are. Maybe they think that, Jason Bateman and Conan O'Brien and Call Her Daddy and these other, what's it, 6, 7, at nine-figure contracts they're cutting with these podcasters is a way to potentially, replace Howard. Why wouldn't you replace Howard with somebody that's Howard-like and his entire audience is familiar with and he handpicked? When he needed to fill Afternoon Drive on his channel, who did he pick? Me.
You.
I'm joined now by the CEO.
Why, if that guy's available, why wouldn't you get him? Oh, because you hate me. And I don't know why. I feel like Robin Leach. And I don't know why. Well, I know why. I don't know why.
Sirius XM, Jennifer Witz. Jennifer, thanks so much for being here today in Sun Valley. So the Alnico Conference has historically been a place for deal making, and there has been a lot of conversation about whether you might merge with your rival, iHeartMedia.
Yeah, I heard, Lummy, that they're thinking about merging with iHeartMedia. They already cut a deal with Odyssey to carry some local sports stations that the Odyssey terrestrial company has, and it potentially, there's rumors within the radio industry and the satellite space that iHeart and Sirius XM may merge.
And there have been reports that there are early deal talks in the works. Have you been having talks with them or other potential partners here?
So I'm not going to. I kind of like the backdrop. If that's, I don't think that's a green screen. I think that's actually in the wood. Like that's,
I think so.
It looks like Montana.
That's beautiful.
Or somewhere. God, man.
How would they even have internet service out there?
And I'd be happy not to have it.
Comment, of course, on market speculation, but there's a lot of great folks here this week that I'm excited to connect with. Media CEOs, tech CEOs, auto manufacturer CEOs.
How about calling Tom Bean up? How about that, Jennifer? Let's call him up. Let's get a deal going.
It's really the spontaneous conversations that I find almost the most valuable. I feel really good about our business today. We are executing across the 3 core priorities that we set out when we reset our strategy in late 2024. And I love the assets that we have at SiriusXM today.
So your stock is down about 50% over the past 3 years, but year to date it is up.
Hold on, did you say their stock's down 50%?
Yeah. Since she's been the CEO.
40% on improving cash flow, record low churn. How much more do you think you can drive improvement and continue to turn around the stock?
I mean, it's really about execution. And again, we reset.
It's about putting it's about putting personalities in there that people will pay a subscription to listen to. And I've already established that I can do that.
Strategy in late 2024. We have 3 core priorities, and we are delivering against each one of those. So we're improving the subscriber experience at SiriusXM and the overall subscription business and economics by focusing on our core in-car audiences. On the
hold on.
What?
No, hold on.
Huh?
Core. I picked it up. Nobody else did because I know what I'm listening to. They're trying to expand where they had their biggest fall off were in-car, in-truck, people that are in their vehicle, that are truckers and are salesmen and spend an extraordinary amount of time in their car, or their truck, or their vehicle. That's where they've had their biggest drop-off. Do you know who actually, while I worked for Howard, I had the highest call volume of any other channel on the network, and the majority of that were from people in their vehicles. Mm-hmm. People didn't call me from their home. They called me from their vehicles. If you want somebody to if your positioning statement is to build your core in-car audience, how am I not at the top of your list?
Well, is that her core? That's the question.
Hold on here. Focusing on our core in-car audiences.
Yes. Focusing on our core in-core audiences.
On the ad side of the business, we continue to build that and grow our business.
Okay, I have nothing to do with the ad side.
Especially with our new YouTube partnership. We're now reaching...
Oh, YouTube. I'm already on that deal.
255 million listeners across the U.S. and Canada. And then we're driving efficiencies across the company, and that's helping drive profitability and ultimately free cash flow generation. So we have a lot of confidence in the momentum that we're seeing.
Now, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Miss Jennifer, but it sounds like a bunch of Wall Street jargon. And if you really want somebody that can move the needle for your in-car core, I'm the guy. Like, I'm not even trying to be humble about it. I've been doing this for 40 plus years. I know I'm the guy.
That is helping us drive our multi-year transformation and value creation strategy.
Please. Come on. Are you talking to a hedge fund guy, or are you talking to
our multi-year transformation and value creation strategy?
One of the things that you've been addressing is this concern over the past couple of years of shrinking annual revenue, declining subscribers. What are you doing specifically when it comes to not just retain subscribers, but grow the subscriber count in the face of so much competition?
We paid $100 million to Call Her Daddy. We paid $110 million to Conan O'Brien. We paid $100 million to Kevin Hart. Paid $100 million to Justin Bateman.
Those shows not just are hard to listen to.
Subscriber counts. It's about
they're podcasting.
Right. It's not a good commute. It's not a good commuter listen. If you're in your car doing something, it's not a great commuter listen.
Yeah, they don't take callers. Nothing.
Subscription business overall. And so for us, the metrics we watch are engagement and customer satisfaction and retention. And we're seeing improvements across all 3 of those areas. And it has everything to do with the improvements we are making with 360L, which is our core product in the car, better and enhanced content across the board with more sports content, comedy and music channels, and then things like companion subscriptions that actually expand engagement across listeners throughout the household. And all of that is translating through to better subscription business metrics like better ARPU and subscription revenue growth overall.
So we've started to see so much competition in the audio space and the podcast space, especially from Netflix, which has a partnership with iHeart along with Spotify. How much of a threat do you see Netflix as being in this podcast space?
We've been in the
we've been in the podcast space. Even though we're in the satellite space, we now are doing podcasting.
podcast business since 2020 when we bought Stitcher, and we've seen a lot of change, whether it's investment, contraction, investment, and
you didn't hear her say we have a lot of growth.
No.
In their podcast business.
No.
Now, did you?
We've been disciplined throughout this period in working with the partnerships that make the most sense for us. So
we've been disciplined during this period is talk for where we've lost our ass and we're trying to navigate through it.
we're focused on an open ecosystem and distribution, and the partners that we work with, the creators, we're helping them build their audiences and their businesses. So we have
yeah. Why don't you hire somebody that's got an established audience and business?
Industry-leading monetization, in part because we offer them distribution across every platform where it makes sense. And some other platforms are taking a more exclusive approach, and we found that open distribution makes the most sense for.
Yeah, you know what? She said nothing. She said nothing there.
Corporate jargon.
Yeah,
you know how many people joined Sirius after Howard signed his deal in 2006?
Yeah, about 6 to 8 million.
20 million
20 million
listeners.
20 million.
And right now their total amount of listeners is 34. Exactly, 34.3.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and you know what? If you want to retain some of those that signed up for Howard,
that's nuts.
You bring in Howard's guy.
Yeah.
You don't bring in Justin Bateman. You don't bring in Conan O'Brien. You don't bring in Kevin Hart. You bring in Bubba the Love Sponge. That's my name.
Which, by the way, some of those subscriptions included you because I bought a lifetime subscription as a result of you joining the show.
What are you saying, Lummy?
Oh, they just signed Mel Robbins.
Who?
For $32 million.
Who?
Mel Robbins, the motivational speaker.
Oh, that's great. That's just great. Great.
That's their one big
great.
That sounds like I want to listen to the morning commute.
Mel Robbins.
Yes.
Tell me how bad my life sucks.
For $32 million. Mel Robbins has never done a day on a high-wire live, terrestrial and or streaming content program. I don't know that Mel Robbins has ever done a day on the live high wire that Howard and I walk on every program. That makes it way different than podcasting, that makes it way different than Mel Robbins' motivational speaking, makes it way different than the Call Her Daddy chick. It's just different. And you got 20 million people that signed up for that particular sliver that you guys don't have anymore once he leaves, unless you'd sign me up. I'm the only guy that has any type of remnants of what Howard does.
This ain't Mel Robbins' show.
Thanks.
It's not what you think.
What? Since when?
Actually, it's much less. Much less. Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.
You look at, do me a favor, Lummy, and find me the demographic gender of Syria. I guarantee it's probably 60-40 male, maybe 70-30.
If you deserve to bring magic back into your life. Yeah. Is that possible?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I work with hundreds and hundreds of people every year who feel like as you grow up, you become 9, 10, 11 years old, and people say, okay, time
74% are age 25 to 54, 73% are male, 23% are female.
Hold on. 73% male.
Just like before, 25 to 54 male skewing. That's who are you?
25
to 54 male
25,
skewing.
54 male.
The whole that's been your story for the last 20 years.
Yep.
And so you've imagined it. And it's a helpful that you could make the situation worse, that you could make the situation worse.
Wait, where did you see that?
Today, on the
I just looked up on target demographic for Howard Stern listener.
Not Howard Stern, Sirius.
No, just Sirius.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about Howard Stern.
No, Sirius is 49% male, 51% female.
What?
Average age about 54.
No fucking way.
So look at the difference in that.
That's what they're releasing.
So if they want to fill Howard Stern's slot, you want to do someone that can fill the slot.
Unlock the power of your mind to create the life you deserve with world-leading
It's
psychologists.
It's so interesting how much your
Dr.
program and his program skew to the same demographic,
Okay, before
the
we jump
identical
into this
demographic.
Today.
They gave how many millions to this bitch?
32. What it's saying on this.
You do that for a third of it, right? 10?
Yeah.
Is that right? It's a deal.
3-year.
She signed a deal in 2024 to a multi-year extending the partnership.
Holy shit. What's Charlie? I know he's not serious, but Jesus. Is he?
It says the same thing about you. The Bubba the Love Sponge show appeals to a broad but concentrated audience within the 25 to 54 age range, blending entertainment, controversy, and lifestyle content. That's pretty accurate. I know Trash Guy, but that's still the people that were his core listeners. I mean, no one can take away the fact he brought over 20 million people. That's incredible. That would be funny, Fire Marshal Bill. AP Tony Peters. Rose Royal Oak Offshore. I did too, Dirt Merchant.
Back live, back loud.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
Back causing problems. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
So, Portnoy got into the WNBA a little bit. Now, this is, I think, what he's talking about a little bit. And remember, the Carrington, how do you say her name? Donjana Carrington.
Yeah, it's
had a flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham. It was deemed a flagrant 2 foul, which caused an automatic ejection from the game. And then the Carrington chick that played for the Chicago team, tweeted white privilege. That she was, that's why the call was made the way it was. It was white privilege. Is it Stephanie White, the head coach from the Fever? This bitch should be fired, and watch Caitlin Clark to the right, her left, our right, put her head down When Stephanie White is asked about the flagrant 2 foul on Sophie Cunningham from Carrington, here's what she says. And watch Caitlin Clark.
It's about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the net.
Man. I mean,
the nonverbals couldn't be screaming anymore.
I mean, like Stephanie White, like, are you just trying to?
She had to cover her face to listen to that.
Yeah.
Point. Stephanie White, I've been a defender, the coach of the Fever. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. Fire her ass today.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want her back on that bench. Stop defending the other players. Right. When do you ever see in like the NBA, a coach not defend their own players? She hasn't done it with Caitlin when Caitlin got punched in the throat. She didn't do it. I don't care if you agree with it or not. You're wrong, but it starts to make me think you care more about the overlying social issues and not pissing off other people in the league. This isn't politics. Your player got assaulted. Mm-hmm. Defend your player in the press conference. Be like, yeah, that was a dirty play. She should have hit the showers. She acts like she's the coach of the other team. I don't care if she's the best X's and O's when she's not. Get her the hell out of there. Either defend your players or get lost. This would be like the bad boy Pistons playing the Celtics or the Bulls, and they're killing Jordan, and Phil Jackson gets up there and be like, they're just playing hard. We have no problem.
No, he's exactly right.
That is absolutely
exactly right.
I'm not defending White. Stephanie White, I don't even know how she goes up there with a straight face. This is your team.
Right.
Do you want them murdered? Do you want them killed? That's what you sound like.
Wow.
This goes on and on, Lummy. I didn't get to it today. Maybe we'll get to it tomorrow.
Perfect.
Jay, I appreciate you, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. I know yesterday you had a 4-hour Willie that I think you feel good about, though.
I do.
Yeah. We'll see Jay next Monday, hopefully.
For sure.
Lummy, I got the Pete Rossini podcast to take.
Thanks for letting me finish.
You've been listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, starring
me, Bubba the Love Sponge,
co-host and show historian, Lummit.
It's Brian Matroni, king of counter program.
Gene Lasker, voice of the people. Glad you get to hear me.
Gary Cantrell, video editor.
Yeah, back here wiring up. It's Mini Macho.
The BRN agent, Thomas Buttoned Up B.
Co-host, Dr. Dan Diaco, Esquire of Council.
Co-host, J. Diaco, Esquire, the Spitting Cobra of Council.
Now, time for the legal disclaimer.
Exactly.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this show without express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
We must dissuade him of this delusion.
Until next time, always remember.
I'll repeat hello. I'm back.